out the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California has won the big game. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Van, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a new river thing. Virginia Tech fire, Radford pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as a valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got a spark, Big dog sports talk, lighten up the dark. He's got the scoop, faster than a sprint. Calling plays like a coach, every word's a hint. From the courts to the fields, the stories unfold. Rick's play-by-play, worth its weight in gold. With a laugh and a growl, he'll pull you in. Big Dog's podcast, let the games begin. Big Dog Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the
Hey, how are you? It's Thursday.
He's
Good morning.
got the spark. Big Dog Sports Talk, lighten up the dark.
And just to help you along, how you know it's Thursday, see there's a graphic on the screen that says Thursday. See what I do there? So that way there's no ambiguity. Oh my goodness, why is it small? That's what she said. There we go. Good morning, everybody. Hit us up on the Professional Door Incorporated text line or in the McClellan Chiropractic chat room. Morning, Stephen. What's up, Vic Meister? Prometheus, bringer of fire. And T-Bird. Good morning. A lot going on today. David Smith, the Radford Hall of Famer. He'll join us. 6:30. Andy Bitter from Tech Sideline. We'll get a spring game preview.
Lighten up the dark.
Alex Square scheduled to join us from Radford Baseball, and then Dwight Vick.
Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders.
Our BDST attorney Ryan Pry fan question of the week: which is harder to hit or harder to do? Hit a golf ball or hit a baseball? Hit a baseball winning easily. We clarified that yesterday. I'd forgotten the question. You know, which happens. Sometimes you just forget the question. Is that right, Vic? Dennis Rodman will be inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame. That's cool. Oh, Live Golf. Imagine that. Live Golf's facing disclosure as Saudi backers weigh pulling fund. You mean it hasn't panned out the way they thought? You mean giving these ungodly purses and paying all these guys all this money when you already had a healthy PGA tour? You mean that didn't work? Oh, what's up, First Lady of McClellan Chat? What's up, Opal? We miss you, Opal. You're not in here enough. And the guys, we all just, on behalf of all of us, we're very sad. Very, very sad. Darn, that's a shame to hear about Liv. Darn, can't imagine. It's destroyed the tour. All this controversy. All the guys who sold out to Liv. I wonder how that's going to, what are they going to say now as they scramble to come back? So it's going to be completely done. T-Bird, you're a golf guy. You're our golf guy. What I really like about Vic's post is that if I miss anything overnight, I can get updated. That helps me a lot, Vic. Which gambling platform do the replacement refs prefer? I think that's the last things they're trying to iron out. You know, before officially, T-Bird, that they hire the replacement refs, I think they're trying to make sure they have the exact betting apps that they use so they can go out and, you know, make calls to influence games so they win some money. I mean, allegedly. Well, that's got to be great news for anybody who's a real golf fan. Imagine that. Imagine that not lasting, huh? Imagine that not taking off like people thought. When this happened a few years ago back on the radio show, we talked about it. Richie Davis would have been proud. And I believe I said then, this seemed like it was something fleeting. Didn't make a whole lot of sense to split up the tours. And of course, guys were going to take more money, right? Of course they would. I mean, does anybody even go to those tournaments? Like, would you be part of a gallery at a live tournament somewhere? Does anybody care? I don't know the answer. I'm just asking the question. And I'm sure those guys will be accepted back in. There you go, T-Bird. Now, T-Bird's a huge golfer. Golf fan, watches it. There you go. Never watched the live event. Didn't like the whole premise and was disappointed in golf. Yeah, that's kind of the way I felt. It was ridiculous. And people defended it hand over fist, man. People were defending it hand. Even Richie Davis. Oh, he thought it was the greatest thing in the world. All we heard was they have the right to do this. It's just more money, blah, blah. No, it didn't make any sense. It would be like in today's world, I don't know, the NFL breaking up. And, you know, it was one thing back in the 60s when the AFL was challenging the NFL because these were cities and players who couldn't make it in the NFL. So visionaries like Lamar Hunt and Al Davis and many others created the alternate league that played a completely different style and forced the NFL to merge. There was never going to be any kind of merger in an individual sport that's already just a millionaire sport. Let's just say it for what it is. For me, and I know this is true and people are going to push back, and I understand. I understand completely. But again, everybody has a right to feel the way they want to feel, and everybody has a right to their own opinion. And in my opinion, the reason I've never really latched on to golf, these are guys that grew up silver spoon in their mouth. They've had lots of money their whole life. They're going out, they're making more money, and it's hard to sit there and watch guys who don't really have real problems win more money just because they are good at what they do. And I know that's true of all sports. I get it. So I know people will not like that, but that's just the way I view it. Team sports, I always played team sports, so I have a little different vibe toward it. I know there's multimillionaires there too, but not all of them. Some things just don't need fixing, yet busybodies appear to mess things up. 100%. 100%. Hollywood yesterday, 5 major studios announced they fired thousands of employees because you know why? Because the Hollywood product is a complete and utter pile of shit. Let's just say it the way it is. They've incorporated politics in everything they do. They have virtue signaling. They have policies in place that make no sense. People aren't going to watch this crap. Nobody wants to be preached to by a bunch of pretenders, adult pretenders. Actors are just adult pretenders that do nothing on their own. We don't care what you say. Terrible writers who don't understand characters, and Disney itself got rid of thousands, a couple thousand people. Morris, for some reason, I don't understand Morris's problem with his, that's weird. And Morris, there's nothing I can do on my end. But anyway, his opening says, from the bowels of Lane Stadium to the heights of the East Stands, Franklin prays that there will be more than 40,000 bombs will explode in his cranium. Yeah, how about James Franklin yesterday calling Mike Vick a, quote, letterman? He kind of got busted for that on social media. Opal says, I'd rather watch paint dry than watch golf on TV. Oh, the United Football League is, oh, who would have thought that too? You know what I've decided as I've gotten older? I don't need football in the spring. They had one shot. Maybe we'll talk about this with David Smith. The USFL was the only real shot that ever resonated with spring football. They were getting a lot of highbrow talent in. Football was just exploding as the new national pastime. And you had lots of owners that did a great job of putting teams in cities that already had other places, already had other teams in the NFL. It was interest. Uniforms were great. Logos were great. And you had a lot of high-profile coaches and players in USFL. Then they started to get greedy, a lot like Live Golf. They kept offering bigger contracts. The television deal shrank because the ratings weren't what they had hoped. And then it's over. Yeah, I understand. If you play golf, you love it. And you look at the whole tour differently. I know that's exactly what it is, Morris, 100%. I know that. I never will. I've never had an interest in it to go play. I tried twice. I was done. And I remember the second time I went, I guess it was post-boxing. Yeah, it was. And I remember, I could hit the ball off the tee fairly different ways because I was strong. Didn't really know where the hell it was going, but I could hit it. The guys tell me, well, if you bought this, you bought that. You know how much you have to pay to buy this? If you take it, no, I'm not doing that. T-Bird says, I'm not a golfer, although I enjoyed chasing balls around par 3 courses in younger days. Yeah. Oh, I'd love to, Morris. If I had the budget just to make it down the Palm Coast, to make that like my journey. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Look, I am not in any way, shape, and form judging anybody for loving to watch or loving to play. I get it. When Tiger Woods was going, I was into it. And I know he had a silver spoon too. I get it. What I said is hypocritical. And I fully admit that with how I look at it now. But it is what it is. And we talked about that yesterday, Vic. Well, actually, it was more North Carolina dropped Dylan Mingo. He was encouraged by Michael Malone. Yeah, we don't want you. We're not spending our money there. So that's interesting. Now, again, high school recruit being, we'll go out and we'll buy some players like Michigan did. That's what I was trying to get across yesterday about football recruiting. I know you need more bodies, and I know you need guys there for depth, but let's see how many young players are going to develop now, not only at Tech, but throughout the country. How many guys we're going to hear about go to places, they're celebrated, and then, they're back in the portal. Brian says, I tried golf once years ago, but there was too much beer involved to really get a feel for it. Well, Brian, maybe you had the right feel for it. Have they really? All the golf courses in Myrtle Beach have disappeared? I thought that was like a booming thing down there, right? I mean, you go to the beach. I mean, I'm not even talking about, putt-putt golf. They have some great courses down there for that. But I thought they would build more courses. Really? That's interesting. Why are they disappearing, T-Bird? I would have thought that'd be a no-brainer. Right? People take their clubs. You're going on vacation. You're in a good mood. You got no time schedule. You may go down there with a couple other people. You may just say, hey, let's go out and get a tea time. It's going to be a beautiful day. I'm surprised to hear that. Why is that, do you think? That makes no sense. Even me as a non-golf guy would think that would be a no-brainer. Myrtle Beach at one time, Moore said, had more courses per capita than any place in the world. Yeah, exactly. And now they're just going away. What are they doing? They're just closing them off and building businesses and stores and stuff. What are they doing? That's interesting. Opal says she likes driving the golf cart around, but she can't hit the little ball. That's fine. See, Opal, you and I could sit up front. I'd just ride shotgun and let the golfers, we could just do whatever. We could just, while they're playing that hole, we could just drive somewhere and just, maybe four-wheel it. T-Bird says not sure, maybe like NASCAR. It was overexposed. I don't know. It's interesting. Calabash seafood. Oh. Well, all you have to do, Vic, for that question is go to YouTube, and I wish I could play it here. It's simply called The Shot. And it was Carlik Jones hitting the game winner with my call. And I would like to show you. You could probably hear it. But it's when we beat Liberty 2018 to go to the NCAA tournament. If you go to YouTube, it is, well, let me make it large here. That's an easy answer. But I don't know. That's the call. That's the shot. Let's see if I can get it to play here. This is the easy answer, Vic. Let me this is technological here. All right, here we go. You won't be able to hear it, I bet.
Freshman dribbles right side in front of Cabell with 4, with 3. He got a late start. The freshman of the year for 3 in the championship. Into the NCAA tournament as he drains the 23-footer as the buzzer sounds, and the redshirt freshman says, no problem, boys. Jump on my back, and I'll lead you back to the promised land as the Radford Highlanders will go back to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2009.
There you go. I don't know if that came across or not. But it's an easy answer. Mike Ashley was there with me that day. We were on the call when Carlik Jones sent a jam-packed, I've never seen the Dedman Center any fuller. The capacity is around 4,900. And we had at least 5,500 in there. They were packed up around the track area. Bunch of Liberty fans. They were our arch rival, right? You're playing for the NCAA tournament. The game was back and forth the whole contest. And then here's this guy by the name of Carlik Jones. And that play that they ran, what was so cool about that play, I knew exactly the play because one time we were on the road that year, as a matter of fact, at Gardner-Webb. And I was traveling with the team, and Mike Jones said, "Hey, Rick, come out here for a second. We don't have we had a couple guys hurt, so I had to run. I had to be the defender that was supposed to fight through that screen. So I did that. So I knew that play, and where Carly, he didn't get to the spot as quickly as coach would like. So that's why I said he got a late start, because I'm sitting there in my mind all of a sudden, because Coach Jones had got me involved. I knew what the play was exactly supposed to look like, and it didn't, but he still took a dribble or two and got to where he was supposed to at the very end. So I did. Orgasmic's a good word. But that's easily the call. Prometheus says, is Myrtle Beach still a family destination? It's funny you say that. I heard people at work yesterday talking about that. They say it's not. A lot of people say they go to different beaches. They say it's become too much of a, well, I'll tell you what they say. There's a lot of drug peddling going on down there, apparently. I haven't been in a long time either. So, not a big beach guy. I'm just not a big beach guy. Hey, I'm still getting sand out of my shoes 3 weeks after I'm back. There you go. T-Bird says, I avoid Myrtle Beach. There you go. See? On cue. For the first time, the time-sharing model ruined beloved mom and pop motels. Yeah. So it is a gang. That's what I'd heard. I heard it wasn't safe. As safe. Yeah. There you go, Rodney. Yeah. Michael Malone made that one of his first things. Yeah. I don't blame him. Look, he's going to have a pro mindset going down there. There's nothing wrong with that. He's going to have a pro mindset. Nothing wrong with that at all. I get it. You're going to see more and more of that. Everybody wants to keep latching on to high school recruits. Okay. But when there's so much at stake with your jobs now as coaches and all this, while we still have business the way we're going, you're going to see more and more coaches going to more veteran guys. Because you're paying that kid anyway. If he's supposedly a 5-star, you're paying him probably $1 million. I mean, let's just say it the way it is. It's ridiculous. So he probably feels more comfortable trusting his coaching staff to show him guys that are willing to. I mean, just about everybody's going to want to transfer to North Carolina. North Carolina is not a normal place. It's not just your simple school. We're going to go to North Carolina to play basketball. I mean, Family Fencing, sponsor of our studios, 540-200-8294, familyfencing@nrv.com, McClellan Chiropractic with Mark Hundley. I get my pillow fell. 155 Walters Drive. Sundown Electric. One of the best reputations of any local business. Satisfied clients left, right, up, and down. Attention to detail, clear communication, honest, and integrity. ReadySetFund.com. Bob Chris, BOBCRST11 at Gmail. ReadySetFund.com. Your organization, through a series of text messages, can earn a lot of money. Let Bob explain it to you, or go to the website and they will explain it to you. Professional Door Incorporated with Travis Williams, residential commercial garage doors, family owned and operated, 38 years in business. National Bank, member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of BDST here on YouTube, my exclusive banking partner. The NRV Super Bowl, 25 years they've been in business, and you can go there every weekend, bowl late, reserve your lanes. It's a great atmosphere. We're going to do our bash there in the summer. Can't wait. But reach out to Terry Stike. Tell him you heard us talking about it, 382-5525. It's always a good time at the NRV Super Bowl. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply has been the place to go for manufactured home parts and windows since 1997. Give him a call, 540-381-8011. Mentioned the BDST fan question of the week, brought to you by Ryan Pry. Hitting a baseball, dominating the question this week over hitting a golf ball. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg. That's Charles Lee, 540-553-2971. And we're brought to you each and every day by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. I just put up their update on the multiplex It is unbelievable. 160,000 square feet. It blows my mind what those guys are accomplishing, and we appreciate them for all their help on the program. I'd rather go to Colorado or Montana for vacation. Yeah, Montana. Where's our Montana guy? He hasn't been around in a while. What was his name? Robert? Yeah, it was Robert. Yeah. Haven't heard from Robert in a while. Hope he's still around. Great dude. Remember he chimed in from out there? He's riding his horse. That's pretty cool. Vic, Big Dog Mugs merch coming in 2027. All right. We do have, nothing's done yet. We got an announcement coming up here soon, I think. Probably in another month or so. Yeah. But I'm with Prometheus. That'd be fun. Go out in Wyoming, somewhere like that. The Rocky Mountains. Yeah, I've been out Colorado several times to watch the Broncos, but to go out there and enjoy it for what it is, yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. 100%. But we got a lot going on today. We've had a lot going on all week. We always do here in the program. And there's no better way to kick off a Thursday than inviting the Radford Hall of Famer, David Smith, back with us. What's up, brother? Good morning.
Trying to get this technology together here at 6:30. I'm here.
I know.
I don't know if can I start by always hijack the opening. I'm sorry.
You however you start is how we start.
I said this morning, I'm not going to hijack Rick's opening. I don't even let him start before I just get.
It's fine.
Our viewers and listeners probably know and appreciate you, but for what you do to be able to get on here at 6 a.m. with all these takes after getting off of baseball and softball and soccer field and basketball arenas at sometimes ungodly hours. I think one time, didn't you tell me once you got home, did you even go to bed after? I can't remember which game it was.
Yeah.
You came back from
a basketball trip. Yeah, it was a basketball trip. And I just said, you know what? There's no point. Let's just stay up, do the show. Then I did call in, so I would be in after lunch.
I remember that one. I can't remember which one it was, but
I don't remember either. Yeah.
Shout out to you. There's two things I'm not the greatest at. Cold weather. You and I talked about that.
We're so in line with that.
And even though yesterday was hot, it was hot. I was.
I know.
I just remember back to, I think it was January 24th when Snowmageddon fell, that ice that wouldn't leave. I don't want, couldn't stand up. Ice didn't leave forever. I don't want that.
No,
I don't want that. And then the other thing is early mornings. In our day, I think they do a lot more early morning workouts than we used to do. I think we talked about that one time. We just always did them afternoon.
Yeah.
And so, but now at 6 a.m. is the thing. And I think all these football guys are up at 5 and they work out at 6. I enjoy a good workout more than anybody, but I've never been a early morning workout guy.
I know.
Never have been. I think it's just because I was conditioned a certain way. I always practice after school.
Sure.
You always played after school. And even in college, we did after school. Other than we were on the road, you get up and travel, stuff like that. But
yeah.
So shout out to you. Shout out to you for all the early morning energy, man. And then you go and do your job. And then there's a job after that job for you. And so.
Like tonight, we got the Rubies tonight. You gotta MC that tonight. Yeah.
There you go, man. Man with many hats. There you go.
So there's a report that there are teams that are trying to get the Raiders to move off of number 1 to take Fernando Mendoza. And I don't think they're going to entertain that. I think I guess let me ask you, David Smith, just say you were the new general manager. And by the way, if he were named the general manager of the NFL team, that team would be winning sooner than later. If you were the GM of an NFL team and you're sitting there and you're like, all right, we got our coach. We just signed a veteran quarterback, man. We're excited about what we're doing. We got a chance to get the one guy that can be a difference maker almost immediately in this league at the most important position. What would it take for you to even consider moving off of that?
A lot, sir. A whole lot, sir. Because don't you think, Rick, that some of this also stems from the thing we don't talk about as often is the backlash? Like you almost can't afford to not do it because
I know.
Because you know what resonates in people's minds is if he goes out here and lights it up for somebody else.
Yep.
And I think about the Colts and your boy John Elway. You know, if you ever saw the 30 for 30 that they did on the agent that was Elway's agent and Marino's agent in that draft, right? He spoke to that, and Ernie Accorsi was a Colts GM, and he was not going to let Elway go. He was like,
no,
he is not. We are going to take him. He can be mad. He can go play baseball. We're going to keep his rights forever. But Irsay's dad, the elder Irsay, cowered to it, if you will, and allowed it to happen. And he goes out, and all he does is go to 5 Super Bowls. Meanwhile, the Colts, miry mediocrity, they end up moving to Indy. The whole bit happened. But that's Rick. And it changed the fortunes of your franchise incredibly, right?
There's no question. No question about it.
And listen, go ahead. Please.
Well, and the whole thing about that, Elway, Frank Kush was the coach of the Colts at the time.
That's right.
It goes back to his father, who was the head coach in college as well at the time.
Arizona
State, there was a lot of accusations about that Frank Kush brought against John Elway's dad about cheating and all that.
Stanford.
And then it's Stanford, exactly. And so Elway's like, I'm not playing for that guy or that franchise. And then he knew they were going to move, and they did. They moved.
He called it all.
He called it all.
But Rick, even with that, you better then get a haul, and then you got to cash in. So there's so many moving parts about it, Rick. It's almost like in baseball, if you bunt, then that means that the defender's got to get the ball, make the throw, make the catch. You got more things to do. Well, if you do this in the draft, that means you've got to hit on getting extra picks. Then those picks have got to be great because the comparison's always going to be
absolutely.
Who did you get in the deal? And then you've got Elway, and all the draft people talked about it. And I tend to agree. I'm a Dan Marino guy, but I'm here to tell you, nope, there hadn't been 5 people ever that's been better than John Elway. I'm just telling you.
Right.
And
you're right.
And he played in Denver altitude, the whole bit. Some of the throws he made. I mean, he went to 5 Super Bowls, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not one of those that's like, well, he got killed in 3. Well, the NFC at that time was road grading everybody.
Those were bad teams too. Those were not good Denver teams. They were not.
He put him on his back. You think about the Cleveland game, the all those debacles that Cleveland kind of spit the bit a couple times, but he had to still get there. I mean, this isn't March Madness where you just kind of, a 3 goes in. No,
exactly.
It's not that. When you get to the Super Bowl, you've had to go through your division. I mean, you still were playing the Raiders. You still were playing the Chargers with Fouts.
Right. Steelers.
Steelers. You still had to get through it all. And so saying all that to say, now we'll get back. I'll come back from the 80s, and now we'll get back to today.
Oh, we love the 80s.
Yeah, listen. That's a segment we need to do. We need to do that segment one day, complete with bad clothes and long hair and the whole bit, right?
We do.
But Mendoza, Rick, you can't let him go.
No.
Even if you feel like you need to do it, because you can't afford. This is my take. You can't afford to do it. Even if you take him and he doesn't work out, what you can then say is he was can't miss. He was everything we said. We gave it the best shot. And you've got a backup now that can say, well, maybe he's early in it. So you've got time.
That's right.
You've got time. So to me, I think they're on the right path. Their path is, and Rick, sometimes I think is you got to have a strategy. You got to have a vision. And I think the Raiders are saying, we tried it with Geno. We tried it we had Antonio Pierce. We've had all these things. We've got to reboot, but we can reboot without totally going to the toilet. We can just say we're young and we're coming. We've got pieces. The key will be Max Crosby. Will he stay? Will they move away from him to get people? I'll be interested to see how that plays out. I don't think that, Rick, that'll hurt them one way or the other. If they end up keeping him, then is he going to be somebody that you're just having for another year? And if you move from him, you can say it's a youth movement. And I think you're fine. I think in that case, you don't really have a whole lot of risk in that regard. So to answer your original question 30 hours ago, you cannot move away from Mendoza. He is a can't miss. He's a champion. He is on the ascend, and he's bigger than I thought. I didn't realize he's like 6'3".
He's
right,
a big
Rick?
dude. He is a big dude.
He's a big dude. Yeah, he's a big dude. And I think you can really say for you, the Raiders, we're going to build on this thing, come out and support us. We've got Genty, we've got him, we got some pieces, and we'll go from there.
100%. And he's going to be a great face of the franchise. He seems to be well-spoken in terms of like, he's got that self-awareness, that hyphenated phrase that too many people don't have. He seems to have it. And I don't know what else he has to show you. He topped it off with that amazing run to win the Natty. I mean, if they even think about it, they should fire everybody in the organization.
Well, all of them. I think Brady will be the last one standing because he seems to absorb all of this stuff. He never goes away. But I think you're right, Rick. I think that what also happens is there's just so much time from January to April that now these things start to lob up, and you see, and maybe it's them saying, we'll entertain it just to see at the end if someone makes them a ridiculous offer that includes a quality quarterback to take it, which I doubt will happen. I think everybody's got their seat at the table around the quarterback thing pretty much buttoned up at this point.
Yeah, I'm with you. And we talked about it, and I saw a couple articles already. Nobody's talking about this draft. This draft is barely being publicized. I don't see any. It's because everybody knows there's not going to be any drama at all in this draft. Trades have already been made. We know who's going number one, and there's no other quarterback. There's nobody in that green room that's going to get anybody excited. This is kind of segued into like an NBA draft in terms of like excitement. Nobody's talking about it.
Well, you know what's funny about it, Rick, is that we've been doing this show 4 or 5 years, and leading up to this show, even the old show, we had segments where I had notepads all over the place, and you and I were going, here's what's happening with this, which quarterback is going there. And even as I prep for this, I started to scroll through and I go, yeah. Really nothing that was like, hey, I wonder if this is going to be a trade. Now, maybe they're setting us up for the big move, but Rick, the top 5 picks are almost locked. You've got Mendoza to the Raiders. The Jets are going to take either Bailey or Reese. Right. Both are edge rushers, outside linebackers.
Right.
All right. The Titans is going to take Jeremiah Love, and Caleb Downs is going to the Giants. Right. That's
done. That's done.
There is very little drama in that other than what they're going to be wearing when they go on stage.
Right.
And that kind of thing. But then you get from 6 down, you've got the Browns is at 6. They may take Sonny Styles from Ohio State. The question will be, will Ohio State get more people taken in the first round than UCLA's women did in the WNBA draft?
I'm going to say yes.
I'll tell you right now. And it doesn't make you wonder why Ryan Day is always on the hot seat when you can have 4 players go in the top 10 and they didn't win the Natty. You're thinking to yourself, how is this possible? But football can be weird like that. You can just have a hot team like Miami came in who we didn't think, a lot of people didn't think should make the playoffs. We certainly did. The ACC's tiebreaker was a debacle. Miami is sitting there going, bro, we're better than any of these guys. We're watching Duke and Virginia play in the championship game, and I'm sure Phillips, the commissioner, is sitting there going, we're not going to have this next year.
Yeah.
We're not going to have an 8-5 team. No disrespect to either of them. It's not their fault. And again, I don't blame the schools. What are you going to do? They ask you to go. Well, Miami should probably go. No, you're going and you're going to play. But in the background, they're saying, we missed that tiebreaker deal there. We probably
we messed it up. Yeah.
Probably ought to button that bad boy up on some level. But back to your draft, Rick, I think there is a couple of interesting notes coming down the pike. I feel like Washington's had a decent offseason, the Commanders, after a bad season, after Daniel's great rookie season. He came back and he had sophomore jinx with injuries. It really wasn't his fault. Injuries are a thing. But he is that's your guy, right? That's your guy.
He is.
He's a slight build, Rick, and he always scares you. But let me tell you, there's a 2-time MVP in Baltimore. There was also a slight build.
Well, that's right. That's right.
That we hope will progress as he matures into his body. He's such an awesome guy. He's a face of the franchise. I mean, no controversy whatsoever. Loves football. He's going to be fine. I think they're going to get it back together. Carnell Tate, another Ohio State guy, is projected to go there. What a weapon that would be for them. I think Washington, early little tip here, I think Washington's going to rebound back to what they were in the 2024 season. They're going to be a threat in the NFC East. And so if they get Tate at 7, Ruben Bain probably looks like he's going to go to the Saints at 8. Again, these aren't shockers. These are the top 10 players that are out there. Back in your division at Kansas City at 9, Jordan Tyson from Arizona State, the wide receiver, giving Mahomes another threat. Of course, the whole thing with Mahomes is I think some of the NFL conversation is going to be around things like, will Mahomes start the regular season, right? Can that happen? Justin Fields is the backup. Don't you just feel like Andy Reid will make him be better than anyone else has? I guess we're all waiting on that, right?
If anybody can, it'll be Andy Reid. Yeah, anybody can. Yeah.
And of course, much to your detriment, you don't need that to be.
I mean, this division is going to be, once the Raiders arrive, and they're going to arrive, I think, with Kubiak and that division. I mean, what are we going to do? I mean, that's going to be a playoff division every time they do the round robin, and it's going to be crazy in that division.
It's going to be what the NFC North was a couple of years ago. I think they got 3 teams in the playoffs: Detroit, Green Bay, and I think Chicago got in the playoffs. And then, Rick, much to the chagrin of Hokies fans, or maybe not to the chagrin of Hokie fans, the number 10 pick in every mock draft I've seen is Mansour Delane, the cornerback that got away from Tech and went to LSU and cashed in and elevated his stock even more.
Yep.
He's pretty much a lock to go to Cincinnati at 10. Congratulations to him. He's earned himself a top, not just a first-round pick, but a top 10 pick in NFL draft. And so, but that's not a surprise to Hokie fans. He's a stud when he was here. He did his thing, 27 pass breakups, 8 interceptions in college football is a lot. That's a lot of interceptions. And so that's where they're sitting, Rick. But then I started looking over my notes last night, and I'll give this back to you. I kept looking through the first round. I didn't see any Denver Broncos picks in the first round. You won't care to explain what your boys have done with their first pick? The floor is yours.
I believe picking at 30, they got around and said, we wanted this guy last year, and it didn't quite work out at the deadline. So let's go get him this year. And I understand that, Jalen Waddle has already fit in tremendously with his teammates. He's already making an impression on the community, and I think he's going to be something that obviously Bo Nix needed. And they're looking at that. They haven't done anything else. I mean, they've re-signed their own guys. And when you give up a number 30 pick, you're not really giving up a first-round pick, because at that point, what everybody tells you from 15 to
it's
pick
all about the same.
60, there's not a big difference anyway, and that's what they did. So,
and you save money. And you save money.
And they save a lot of money. That's right.
When you move into the second round. But then, so I saw that, and you guys don't have another pick until the 8th pick of the 4th round, and then 11th pick of the 4th round. So your guys are going to be very economical and very strategic.
Yeah, they lost their 3rd round pick. Yeah, 2nd round pick, and they lost their 3rd round pick. Yeah.
Lost your 3rd, so you got 2 4ths, a 5th, and 3 7ths. 3 7ths, and so
don't they still have their second? Don't they still have their second?
Yep. Second, yep. That's correct. That's exactly right. So 2nd, 2 4ths, a 5th, and 3 7ths. And so, but here's the thing: you didn't have a ton of needs, and you addressed a few of those in the preseason, and so in the offseason rather. So the key for you guys is Bo Nix development.
I know.
And that has always been wobbly to you.
Yeah, I'm still wobbly.
Hey, peeps, y'all talk to Rick. He sees all the warts like most of us of his team. And a lot of Sundays we're texting each other, and you're on the edge of the building. I'm like, bro, get back. They're fine. Rick, you won the division. Rick, you're hosting the championship game. I know your quarterback is out, and you were 1/2 away, even with that, and one horrible throwaway. From being in the Super Bowl, and again, Rick, you never know. I
know if he could have been there. If he could have been there, that would have been an interesting Super Bowl. It would have been. That would have been
exactly right. Exactly right.
Pezzo's asking you who the Steelers going to take. What's up, Pezzo? Steeler guy. He's from Pennsylvania.
Well, here's the funny part. Is Aaron Rodgers coming back?
I know. Where are we?
I guess he is. And to me, Aaron Rodgers is moving around about as well as Rick and I are this morning, which tells you all you need to know.
Well,
You're going to have to protect him. And so the fact of the matter is that I think they're at 21. The projection is offensive line. The offensive lineman from, of all places, Penn State is one of the projections that I'm seeing. Owane is his name. That's one of those where I think for me, Aaron Rodgers at the end of last year, and you hear people talk about this, announcers and people who study this, that he was looking like he was seeing the rush. He just, if it got close, you could see him really kind of almost freaking out if you go back and look at some of the games. and you're having to go with that. I'm uncomfortable for Pittsburgh having that guy being there. I remember when he got hit in the nose, his nose was, but he just looked like an old man.
Yeah.
And just 5 years ago, Rick, I think it was, or 6 years ago, him and Brady were going at it during the pandemic for the NFC Championship, and they were
the
throwing
title
up
game.
haymaker. Yes, for in the NFC Championship. So it goes fast, and I think if they're going to go with Rodgers, there's going to be a lot of things he can do for you, but he's going to get rid of the ball quick because he's not trying to be in there 1,001, 1,002, 1,003. And so, to me, I think it's got to be offensive line. That's what Pittsburgh is projected to get. I think they're going to have to insulate him. They're going to have to rely on the running game. And to me, that's where they're going to have to kind of make things happen for them in the tight end position, which they had buttoned up last year. But the big guy ended up getting hurt, the 300-pound tight end that was a monster for that. I think he ended up getting hurt late in the season. That's his safety blanket. To me, offensive line is where they got to go because Aaron Rodgers isn't trying to get around too much anymore. He's trying to stay in there, 1,001, 1,002. It's out of here. That's where I think they're going to go.
Is it wrong that I don't even consider the Steelers since they got rid of our guy, Mike Tomlin? Since Mike Tomlin left, I know he left, but it's not even the same franchise to me anymore. They're dead to me.
It is so odd to even think.
Weird.
Until you even said it, I'm still thinking he's there. I'm just going, maybe we didn't hear that right because it's been
McCarthy?
forever. I think when we see it won't even be when we see practice. When we see a preseason game, is when we're going to see him in the headset, and we're going to go,
"Who's that?
That's odd." You know what I mean?
Mike? Where's Mike?
Where he's been there for and what's so funny about him is in typical Mike Tomlin fashion, you've not seen or heard from him, not a morsel.
And he said that left. He said, I'm gonna go away for a while. He'll come back. He'll come back.
He'll come back, but more than come back, the door will be knocked on so many times. I mean, don't forget, Rick, there were 10 coaching changes. I just wrote them down before. 10 changes in coaches in one offseason. That was 10 out of 32 teams, and including the Buffalo Bills, who were in the playoffs and doing fine, winning division all the time, and they went with Joe Brady because they thought Shane McDermott time had kind of run, who also used to work with Tomlin and played together at William & Mary. They were both on the staff at VMI. Both guys have been through Virginia.
And they're both unemployed. How are they unemployed? Both of them.
Playoff coaches, and they're both gone. Well, think about it. And then the Ravens, they moved on from Jim Harbaugh, another playoff coach. And so you start to add these things up, and you start to wonder, everybody's trying to find lightning in a bottle. Everybody wants to, this is a new thing. A couple of them.
Yeah, it's a Sean McVay system. That's it.
They're going to try to make it the McVay League, and that's fine and well and good. But at the end of the year, we watched it a long time, Rick. Every time I've watched the season, still only one team won. The other 31 have gone home without winning. So you're going to probably not win it every year. So the question is what is your expectations for your organization? And I feel like at times there are people who move from people. But then, Rick, there's these things like the John Harbaugh out of Baltimore. It felt like people were just fatigued of it. They thought it should be something.
Yeah.
Didn't you sense that?
100%. And maybe he even sensed that was the vibe coming down from his peers, his bosses. And maybe he just felt like, you know what? It probably is time. Maybe I should. That seemed didn't that just seem like that was both parties understanding? It was like there was no bitterness. It was just like, okay, it's over. It's over.
It was that, and there's really nothing more to add to it. I've tried to make it more complex than it is. It's just run its course. And even with Tomlin, I'm sure after a while he kept saying, "You guys finding, this never having a losing record, and you guys expecting all these other things." He probably said, "Well, let me just let you guys have your way. I'm going to have but I'm going to control the narrative. I'm going to go. Good luck to you all." Let's see how much you'll admire those 9-8 seasons, those 10-7 seasons that I was dragging the freight along as best I could, right? Because after Big Ben retired, did they ever get the quarterback position right? Did they ever give him a real chance, right? I mean,
no.
Mason Rudolph, they bring in Aaron Rodgers. He was trying to find that quick fix. How often does that ever work? A 40-some-year-old guy, we're going to bring in a vet. And I'm sure in Tomlin's case, he was thinking, if we can just get adequate quarterback play, I've got the rest of it covered because I've been making it happen with inadequate quarterback play.
Yeah, I know.
So if I'm getting 9 and 8 with inadequate quarterback play relative to the league, what will happen if an MVP, even if he's not perfect, can come in? He's got to be worth 2 or 3 wins, but it never really happened. And so for him, he's saying, probably, my speculation here, I'm gone. Good luck to you all. Maybe, you know, and if it's not enough, that's fine. I've done all I can do, and I'm going to hit the reset button. And next year we'll see what he lands up, because he'll be somewhere, Rick.
Well, I'm going to make a bold prediction here in a second. And for Tomlin, he was almost a victim of his own success. They always finished with a winning record in the playoffs a lot. He never finished low enough to find that franchise quarterback. He wanted to trade up. Remember, there were times there were reports he got angry at the front office for not being aggressive to go up and get a guy that they wanted. When he had who was his OC for all those years?
Todd Haley.
We want this guy. No. Anyway, he was a victim of his own success because they couldn't go get that guy. But my prediction is, and again, this is something we haven't gotten into a lot, but this whole thing with Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini is going to blow up to the point to where I don't think he can coach that football team anymore. She's already resigned from the Athletic. She's admitted the affair, didn't take any responsibility for it. So in my opinion, that's going to be such a PR nightmare for the Patriots. I don't think Mike Vrabel coaches the Patriots in 2026.
That is going to be real interesting. It has been quiet on their end, but go ahead. I think I see where you're going.
Next year, Mike Tomlin will be the head football coach for the New England Patriots in 2027.
Wow. Okay. Now, let me tell you something. Your peeps won't let you forget this, so I don't have to remind you of what you just said. Can you imagine he ends up being the coach of the Patriots?
I can just see it. I can see Kraft, if he's still around, trying to make that move after he's got a year off from the game and he's watched the game and he's like, all right, you know what? I'm ready to get back into it. What do you think?
Well, I will tell you why I like what you said, because there's very few people who can walk in the building and strip it clean by his very presence, even if it's not in the family.
Exactly.
Because a lot like Carolina, who we watched try to stay in the family and then made an adjunct move, which I like, by the way. I like the Mike Malone move to consider coming out of the family because he kept pieces in the family. But if you're going to make a move from Vrabel, you've got to go with somebody who can scrub it clean when he walks in. And that would be a guy like him. You've got to have an alpha who can say, this is where we are, and everyone's going to stand at attention. But yet he's enough of a player's coach that can get the job done. And there's pieces right there. So that's a real spicy one, sir.
And he's got his franchise quarterback.
He's got it.
He's talked up Drake May coming out of college, coming out of Carolina. Just saying.
I'm going to write that one down. Tomlin, you talking about in the 27 season?
Next year. I don't think he has time this year because I think this Vrabel thing is going to continue. I mean, he's going to have to make a statement soon. So is Robert Kraft. This is starting to build up pretty big for him. So I don't know how that locker room is going to respect playing for that guy. He jumped on some guys because they decided to, show how supportive they were of the NBA player who, got fired because of his religious faith. Don't get me started there. And he openly criticized those players for supporting that player. And then yet now this guy's tied up in an affair betraying his family. So I think this thing's going to continue to blow up against him.
Well, it's been incredibly – the silence is deafening coming out of New England.
Deafening.
It is deafening, at least from the New England side. I did want to add one thing to what you said about the Steelers, and that is this. People said it year after year after year. Why won't the Steelers tank? Why won't they try to? But you think Mike Tomlin is a guy that's not going to try to win every practice,
everything,
or less win every game? So it wasn't in him to do that because his thoughts were a lot. Now, Rick, this is where I admire him, and I think this is where I think you and I and him may be similar. Don't want to speculate, but I'll make the assumption because I know you pretty well, my brother.
Yes, you do.
You're not going to go out there and ask fans to pay hundreds and thousands of dollars to a game where we're not trying to win the game that you came to see us play. This is right. Pittsburgh. This is who we are. We are steel mills. We are Western PA.
That's right.
The product on the field, you deserve our best effort. And so this is why Pittsburgh, I found it odd that they were complaining about him putting teams in position to always win games, because it ran contrary to what other people thought he should do, and that is lose games. It's not how he was built.
No.
So to me, you can't have it both ways. And so that was where, and so because of that, like you said, he never got a chance to end up low enough in the division or in the whole standing to end up with a high draft pick.
That's right.
So he could never get to top.
Couldn't go get him. Couldn't go get him.
So they stayed in mediocrity, which is exactly where they were. And guess what? That's where you ended up being. I think they'll look back on it at some point and say, he probably did a lot more than we recognize, but it's not the 70s Steelers and it's, all those things. I'm like, well, bro, listen, they couldn't even leave it at that time. Wasn't any free agency then. Joe Green came in 70 and he stayed there till he retired because he couldn't go anywhere.
He couldn't go anywhere. Right. Exactly. Come on.
And so, Mel Blount, I mean, give him credit for the whole thing. But if you recall, again, go look at America's Game, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, my gosh.
Dude. And watch the Chuck Noll construction of that whole organization. Unbelievable. His eye for talent on that team. Unbelievable.
Chuck Noll. How about, has anybody ever hit the draft like that guy hit the draft back then? Chuck Noll.
Unbelievable. I saw the piece where Andy Russell had already been there before Chuck Noll got there. And Andy Russell said that Chuck Noll told him, he said, son, I had a chance to watch over your tape. He says, you move way too recklessly. He says, I'm not so sure that you're disciplined enough to play this game. He says, but if you stick around, he says, I might can turn you around. Andy Russell's like, man, I was everything last year. Chuck Noll just came in and stripped into his soul right out the gate. And Joe Green comes in and they wanted to try to manhandle him. And he showed him right out the gate, I'm not to be fooled with. And so right away, you talk about, and Joe Green being the number one pick out of North Texas, not even like a Bama or USC. He comes in, I think it was North Texas. I think the Little Green, is that them, Rick? Am I got that right? I believe it is.
Yeah.
Nonetheless.
Mean Green or whatever they are. Yeah.
So the point is they established all that. They couldn't leave. They nailed it. Jack Ham, Jack Lambert, Mel Blount. I mean, we can go on and on and on. It's just L.C. Greenwood, Dwight White, Ernie Holmes. I mean, what are you going to do with that group? And so that was a time.
You're going to lose games again. You can't beat them. They didn't lose games.
and they're beating a Raiders team that was elite and a Dolphins team that went to 3 straight Super Bowls. And so that right there was football, that the way the Steelers remember it. But a lot like Carolina basketball, those traditions die hard and people still expect those same kind of things. And so that's where the standard is. But next week is the draft, and we'll see how it all plays out around teams like the Steelers and my Dolphins, who need offensive line help. So please send some our way to keep Malik Willis upright. Please.
My dad was a Steelers lifer, and he pulled for the Steelers back in the 60s before they hit. He loved their colors. He loved and he loved Andy Russell. But then Mean Joe Green became his all-time favorite NFL player.
He's unbelievably.
He followed it. I'll never forget Dad always talking about Joe Green, and then that Coke commercial hit.
The Coke commercial.
And he loved it. So it was. I don't think about Dad every time I think about Mean Joe Green. So,
I did not know your dad was a Steelers fan. My brother
was a real one. Yeah. And Mom was a Cowboys fan back in the 60s all the way through. So it didn't just start when they started winning. So they picked them out. That's how I fell into all this. We'll have to get into that sometime. I grew up. My mom and dad talk about the Steelers and Cowboys. I'm like this little kid. What? Who's that?
Yeah.
Football.
I was a Dolphins, had the stocking cap with the logo on the front. And my brother had the Steelers when we got it for Christmas that time, always with a football. And so we always played with it. And so, football runs in our family. My mom and them are Redskins / Commanders fans. And so, man, we got to unpack that. We got to unpack that.
We'll have to go into the history part of it. Yeah.
Oh, can't wait.
We both got it honest is what we're saying.
100%, folks, 100%. There you go. That's exactly right.
Good stuff. Well, great stuff as always. Great stuff. Great comments by people. People love you, man. Love your segment.
I love them.
I'm looking at the comments here, man. People you're the best. You're the best.
Well, listen, this platform is fantastic for me. A wannabe radio guy that studied in school and then got a real job. And now I'm back to doing what I love to do, at least for one time a week. And I appreciate you allowing me to come on here and spew this venom to these peeps, man. We have a good time. And we need to get the podcast back up and going. So stay tuned, guys.
Sports and More will return. Yeah,
we're gonna pop that bad boy up, and we can talk about this all we want. I'm sure I'm on Andy Bitter's time right now. Apologize.
No, he's good. No, he's good. He's making sure his
spring games coming. Spring games coming. Spring games coming. Right. So that's a big deal.
Yeah,
right?
We got a lot to get into. Yeah, we're here. We are here.
Well, I'll be listening. I'll be listening after I get off of here and leave you guys alone. There you go.
All right, brother. Great stuff, man.
See you next week, bro. Thanks.
We will see you next week. Yeah, absolutely.
Draft day.
All right, man. Give my best to your wife. Tell Pebbles I say hello and I love her.
All right, buddy. Good luck with the at the awards tonight. Tell everybody.
Yeah, we got the awards tonight. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. We'll see how.
All right, brother. Thank you, Bob.
Right, take care, man. Be good.
All right, yes, sir.
David Smith joining us, our NFL correspondent. The great David Smith. Thanks, everybody. Great comments. Yeah, the Raiders are not moving off Mendoza. Let's just everybody stop. Everybody stop. That's not happening. All right. We segue from one outstanding guest to the next. Joining us now, he is Andy Bitter, the lead writer for Tech Sideline. And, hey, we got stuff to talk about. What's up, AB? Good morning. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How you doing?
No, doing all right, man. Man, people are excited about Saturday. Just the response here on the program, it's crazy. People are looking at this as just maybe something they haven't seen in a long time, and maybe it will be. It should be a large crowd. The weather looks like it's going to cooperate. What are some of your thoughts heading into the spring game?
Yeah, as soon as I saw the weather was going to be like mid-80s, yeah, good crowd at that point. I mean, people want to be outside this time of year, and I think there is excitement about the program too. That get a first glimpse of James Franklin, first glimpse of the new quarterback too. I think when you have a transfer quarterback like this that you brought in, everybody want to kind of want to see him in action out there on the field, and I would think they can get probably their best crowd ever. I mean, what is it, like 30, 35 is maybe what the best in the past. I forget I don't have all the attendance figures in front of me, but that seems to be about the max of what they've got. I think they can do better than that on this one, especially with how much Franklin's been, hyping up. Come out there, see him in person. Now, I don't think they're going to sell the stadium out, but
no.
I think they can get a pretty good crowd.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's going to be well received, and like you said, it won't be sold out, but 40,000 plus seems like that's doable now, right? With the way the weather's going to cooperate.
I would think so. Yeah. And if it was cold or if there was rain in the forecast or anything, I'd lower my estimate, but it's a perfect weather scenario. And I think that's going to max out what they can get with this.
Well, let's get your thoughts. I know in your mailbag, you got a lot of questions about Tim Sands and the early announcement of his retirement as opposed to finishing out his contract. What were some of the questions, and what's your take on all that? As Tech now has a huge hire to make.
Yeah, it's interesting. Normally when a guy has 1 year left, you just kind of let him go out on his terms, but that's not what the board was going to do with this one. I don't think it was voluntary. I don't think he just like, you know what, I'm going to cut this off a year early. I think he wanted to get to the end there, and maybe his clash of personality styles in that. And, I think Tim Sands is a very, ponderous academic, and they think about everything from every angle and before they act. And this board of visitors, I think, is very much go, 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 right? A lot of business-minded people, a lot of let's take action type people. And I think that's maybe a class that's going on within the university, that they have these two types. And, this isn't just an athletics decision, but I think athletics sort of frames a lot of the stuff that they're thinking about. This has to happen quickly. You need to make decisions quickly. You need to be people of action to keep up with the current landscape. And I just don't know if a lot of people in the university were thinking of it that way, and perhaps Sands among them. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what this means for the athletic director.
Right.
Right. Sands was one of Witt's biggest allies. I think if not for Sands being there, I don't know if Witt would be there right now.
Agreed.
In the wake of this Brent Pry firing last year. It's kind of like a professional franchise. When new ownership comes in, they want to put their people in place.
That's right.
New team president, if you're an embattled GM and have struggled a bit, I think that's not a great sign for your future. And it wouldn't surprise me if they made a change at the top of the athletic department as well. And really, I think what it comes down to is, what does James Franklin want? Not for the president, for the AD. If he wants Whit Babcock in place, I bet you he stays. If he doesn't, which I don't think that's the case, but if he's indifferent,
that's
then
a
I
good
think
word.
I think it opens the door for a replacement there.
Yeah, that's a great word. He may not be actively against it, but it might be like, whatever, the AD, I don't answer the AD anyway.
Right.
So, we're doing our own thing. That's true. That's true. It's going to be massive. And the timing of it is very interesting. And you're right. And you remember when Britt Pry was fired, it was Tim Sands who came out and had the statement release and everything. And, it's interesting how that dynamic's going to play out. And what Tech fans have already orated, they want the natural following to be that, for the most part, not everybody, but a large majority want Whit Babcock to go ahead and say, okay, well, I'm out of here too. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and that's a situation that it's so strange that you talk to administrators and you talk to coaches over there, and they really appreciate what Babcock has done for the program. But you talk to fans, and it's the complete opposite. There's no trust there. I think a lot of them are like, I will never donate again as long as he's there. I think there's a lot of people that are like that. And, I think some of them are not insignificant donors too. You could be like, well, how much are you giving anyway? I think some of these people actually give quite a bit of money who are making this stance. So, how long can that last? I don't know. I mean, perhaps it's just best to turn it over and get something fresh in there. And I think, there's something athletic directors say about their coaches. It's like you're in a bad situation whenever your coach, every game is a referendum on that coach, right? You win this, it's like, you're all right. You lose it, it's the end of the world. You're going to get fired. Why is this guy even around? And they've been that was that way with Fuente. It was that way with Pry. To a lesser degree, people didn't come out and scream it from the mountaintops. It was that way with Frank at the end of Frank's run when they were sort of a middling team. Well, I think it's the same way with athletic directors. And, the football team stinks. It's like, well, you helped build this. Why are you doing this? Oh, you didn't get LED lights soon enough. This is terrible. Why are you doing it? I feel like people just have such a visceral reaction to anything that happens in the athletic department that I don't know. If I was Whit, I don't know how much longer I'd want to put up with it too.
Yeah, agreed. How much do you think the way the setup is now, and it won't matter who they bring in, James Franklin's not going to answer to an AD. How much do you think that affects the pool potential? I know we're talking about something that hasn't happened yet. An opening hasn't been created. So how much do you think that affects the pool of potential folks who are interested? Because football at Virginia Tech is the thing, and you're being told right off the bat, well, James Franklin's the AD of football.
I don't know. If somebody pays me $1 million a year, I think I'll be okay doing whatever they ask of me. I mean, the job pays well. It does pay well. It's a pretty plum gig. You get to run an athletic department. And as much as we say that Franklin doesn't answer to him, him or her, again, whoever they hire potentially in the future here, they still have to work together in some manner. I mean, they're not just going to, ships passing in the night in the athletic building. Like, there's going to be some sort of partnership that exists there, whether there's a direct reporting line or not. And again, I don't want to say it's a foregone conclusion. I mean, I think it'll happen, but I mean, listen to Franklin talk about Whit in his introductory press conference and saying that he was a factor in him coming here and helping this whole process. So I don't know really what that relationship is like behind the scenes. But again, if you're Franklin and you don't want to just deal with something new right off the bat, and you already enjoy this person who's in place, maybe I could see him going to bat for Whit and saying, hey, let's keep this partnership in place. We don't want to overturn everything. But, I don't know what his thoughts would be on this.
Well, in your mailbag piece, I think this is a very good question you were asked, and it's one that I've thought about, and we'll see what you came up with, because I've been thinking about it myself. But everybody's going to get through the spring game, and they're going to be like, oh, my goodness, this guy was great. They look great. Oh, my Lord, we're back. Well, it is what it is, because I go back to the Andy Bitter rule. It's practice. Let's just everybody stay on the ground. But what 2026 game will tell everybody if this team does have some juice? I thought that was a very good question in the mailbag.
Yeah, I said the Pitt game at the start of October, and before that they've got VMI, which no, it's not going to tell you anything. ODU, no, I don't think it's going to tell you anything. And I get that ODU's beaten them a couple times, but I'm still not going to be like, well, they beat ODU. This team's back.
They're back,
right?
Yeah.
It's something this program should do. Maryland went 4-8 last year. I think they're improved and they have a really good quarterback, and that game is on the road and it's all this stuff. But that's also a team that's 4-8. If you beat a lower half ACC team, you wouldn't be sitting here saying you're back at this point. Maryland is a team this team should be beating. I mean, even if you go 6-6, that's a team you should probably be beating, even on the road. Then Boston College after that. And Boston College was the worst ACC team last year by a pretty good margin, it felt like, too.
Yeah.
So then you get to Pitt in early October, and Pitt is a home game. Pitt is always a physical test. Pitt has a quarterback that's pretty good that's coming back. And, I think that's just a test. There's a little history there between Franklin and Pitt. I think he always kind of tweaked them a little bit whenever they play. And there's some quotes that they beat him one year. There's a quote like, it's just like beating Akron or something like that. I didn't mean it like that. It's like, well, you had to have known that they were going to take it a certain way. If you said it's like beating Akron when you're playing a rival like that. So I think there's maybe a little extra juice to that game to begin with. But I think if you can win a game like that, that's more indicative of whether this team is back to a serviceable level or not. I don't think that's going to tell you they're going to be an ACC contender, but it's going to tell you that they're not, 5-7 material or 4-8 and missing a bowl game. They're going to be in the consideration to go to the postseason. I think that's a good first step in the first year.
Yeah. Prometheus asked a good question. What does back even mean? What will indicate to you, I guess, is there a certain win total, 7 wins? Would that kind of indicate that not maybe they're back, but boy, okay, this thing is really going to.
Well, I think if you could be a team like Pitt, I think that proves that you can be serviceable during the season. I think, are they back? We talked about, is Miami back for the longest time? And
I know.
It used to be like, they're not until they're a championship caliber, national championship caliber team again. And I do think Miami has been back in recent years. And, Cam Ward was fantastic there. And then they go to the championship game last year. That's Miami being back because that's the standard they've set previously is national championship standard. Now, some people might say they're not even back yet because they didn't win a national championship. I think you come within one drive of it. That probably counts as being back. Back for Virginia Tech is competing for and winning ACC championships. That is back to the standard that they set for a long time under Frank Beamer, then has been absent for the last decade and a half. So, 10 wins, playing in an ACC championship game, winning an ACC championship game. I mean, it's been a while. So that's what I would consider back.
I think Witt said that, didn't he? Something along those lines. Hey, we won a lot of ACC titles, but that's been a long time ago.
It's been a while. Of course, when he says something like that, it just sets up the fans. Well, you're part of the reason why.
I know.
You can't set them up on a tee like that. It's too easy.
Too easy. Way too easy. What were your thoughts on the financial report on Monday? From year to year, it was a record announcement of what they made, but then there was the Jay Pearson kind of, hey, we're already falling behind. Talking to some coaches, we got to go.
Yeah, I mean, everything's a record these days, right? Everything's going up. The price of everything is going up. It's like saying, gas is the most expensive it's ever been. It's like, yeah, that's what it is. Prices go up on stuff now, more expensive than it needs to be. But I digress on that subject. But yeah, I mean, you put a little effort into fundraising, a little extra effort into fundraising, you're going to get your highest total ever. And I think it keeps going up. But everybody else's fundraising is going up. So yeah, congratulate everything on doing a well done on bringing in the most money that you ever have. But the price of poker goes up and you're competing against people who are doing the exact same thing. So that's why, I see Virginia Tech and they're like, we're going all in with athletics and we're going to really support this. It's like, you know what? There's 100 other schools in the country having that exact same conversation and making those exact same statements. And I was kind of DMing with David Hale at ESPN about this, and he's just kind of chuckling and hearing some of the rhetoric coming out of Virginia Tech. And we're like, yeah, all these other boosters are doing the same thing. It's like, that's great to go all in, but you got to be smart about your money. And you know what? Somebody's still going to finish in 10th place, right? If you all spend money, somebody's still got to win these games. Somebody's still got to lose these games.
Right.
And
that's right.
So spend the money wisely. Spend it, because I think you have to have skin in the game to win this whole thing. And if you don't, like, look at Boston College. I don't think they're a fully funded football program, and they were dreadful last year. But you have to have the money in there, and then you have to put it in the right places too.
Yeah, that's right. And some of that money means you hired the right people to run your programs and run your department. They need to do their job. It's not always about, and it just seems this endless sieve of asking for money. We don't really have a total, but boy, we just need more and more and more. And that's where fans are going to face that dilemma at some point. What's the end here? Why do we keep giving? Is it because of, like we're saying, they need to determine from a donor's perspective, when are we back, and how much can we help? So.
Well, that's the part that I feel is unsustainable, is because, if you're a professional franchise and you're owner putting money into the team, there's a return on investment there for you. If your team wins the Super Bowl after you've poured a lot of money into that thing, there's financial rewards at the end of that.
That's right.
Exposure and extra games and all that stuff. If you put a lot of money, if you're a booster and you're funding these athletic departments, what is the return? You don't get a piece of that. You don't get a percentage of the profits at the end of this. You get the satisfaction of your team winning, but that's fleeting. I feel like that only takes you so far. And then if they're not winning, that's even worse. You poured all that money in and you're not winning. So I think eventually there will be some fatigue with that, if it's not already there, of people saying, why am I bankrolling this whole operation all the time? But what am I getting back out of this? That just feels unsustainable until they set up some actual, collective bargaining or something that the players look at this and go, we get a cut of the revenue that's produced, and all this extra stuff just feels like it's just unsustainable.
100%. I could not agree more. That's what I tell people all the time. I think I have the same mindset. I don't understand. If you go 7-5, you gave millions. Okay. Did they really need my money? 6-6? Was that did I make a difference? And how am I feeling going into the new season? Oh, well, it wasn't good enough the previous year. We need to do better. Okay. So I guess I'll give more money.
Well, if you gave $1 million to Virginia Tech for last year's team, and that was the product they put out there and went 3-9, I'd never give money again. I go, what are you using this money for? Why am I throwing this down this pit if this is the results you're going to get? And like I said, somebody has to lose the games. I've looked at the SEC, and they're kind of pushing the salaries on all these coaches, and every coach in the SEC makes $5 million plus or whatever it is. It's like, all right, well, half of them are going to finish with a sub 500 record in the conference. Probably. I think mathematically it doesn't have to work out that way, but the odds are it's going to be about 50-50, and there's going to be a last place team with a coach making $5-6 million. And that seems like a waste to me.
Random topic, but what were your thoughts on Michael Malone? Did I talk to you about this with Carolina last week?
Interesting hire. Certainly not the NBA coach I thought that they were going to pursue in this whole thing. I thought it might be Billy Donovan, but he can coach. There's no doubt about that. He is an NBA champion coach, and it'll be interesting to see how he adjusts to college. I think with Billy Donovan, if he came back to college, everybody'd be like, well, he has to adjust to a new era. He hasn't coached in college for a while. He hasn't been head coach in college for a while. Yeah. Michael Malone hasn't been head coach in college, period.
Yeah.
And we're going back even further into history since he's been at the college level of it. It's pre-2000, I think, with UVA at some point. It was I think he went somewhere as an assistant coach as well, but he was at UVA in the front office type not general manager, but staffer in some sense. That's a long time to be out of the college game. And we'll see how will his coaching style work going to college from the NBA? I would lean towards thinking it will, but it's an interesting hire. I think it's a risk when you go out of the norm like that. And frankly, I'm shocked that UNC, one of these premier jobs in college, couldn't lure away one of these
Agreed.
top college coaches.
I know.
What's going on in that sense that they had UNC has to go to its fourth or fifth option or whatever that he was in the pecking order. Maybe it was higher than that to start, but I thought Tommy Lloyd from Arizona was going to be a lock, especially the way he was talking. Like,
I know.
This place will be good long after I'm gone. It's like you're a top candidate for a job at UNC. Maybe don't, like all the Arizona fans, like, don't give us a heart attack, man. What are you doing?
What are we doing? What are
Ridiculous.
we doing? That's true. That's true. And yet, a big thing, we're going to see more of a trend. I saw a big thing in his new deal. I don't answer the AD. That had to be in there. I saw a guy out there covering them said that was a big. Is that something you think that's going to be a new trend now for some of these coaches? Who are they going to answer to? I guess it's the president. Only?
I guess. I mean, it's just a different boss. I mean, do they think that the AD won't be giving input on that whole thing?
I don't know.
I don't think that'll save you. I mean, generally, if you're going to get fired, you've been doing a terrible job for a while, especially a coach of that caliber. Like, how bad do you have to be for how long to get fired from a situation like that? So I don't know if that's going to save you necessarily, but these people are control freaks for a reason. That's gotten them to the position that they're in, and I think that's just one more impediment they're trying to remove to this whole thing. But it's not going to say you go 10-20. It's not going to save you.
That's right.
10-20. Right. The board or the president or whoever you do report to is going to go, we're paying you how much to be this bad? Get out of here.
Yeah, right. Hey, before we let you go, a couple questions on the Professional Door text line. Mark asked, Andy, will you have an opportunity to talk to Coach Franklin after the spring game? Will you guys have an interview session?
I doubt it. I mean, there'll be the post game press conference. Okay. But when that's done, he's out of there.
He's done.
I mean,
yeah,
he doesn't stand around and like chit chat like some coaches do. It's like, are we good? We good? Water bottle, and he's off, and that's it. Watch the videos. It's a quick dart off stage left when he's done. So, will I have a chance after that? Maybe sometime in the summer we try to set something up, but I don't know. It's been an uphill battle so far sometimes.
And Philip says, I have to work all weekend. Will Andy be tweeting during the spring game like he does during the regular season?
I will be. I mean, it's going to be more.
There you go.
I will be. It's more annoying now because Twitter changed the tier levels of pain, so I don't have TweetDeck, which was the only reason I paid for it in the first place was to use TweetDeck, and now they up the price by 500% from $8 a month to $40. Like I'm a business.
Oh my Lord! Really?
Like yeah, it's ridiculous. $8 a month, I'll pay it. Like if I get TweetDeck, and now it's $40 a month. So it's very difficult to like manage, like replies and stuff and see them coming in because you just don't have that constant feed on it. It's very annoying, and it's making me, try to rethink if I even want to continue. Like I didn't like paying for it in the first place, but I was willing to pay $8 a month, and now it's just stupid. So this will be the first time I'm in a game where I don't have it, so I gotta navigate back and forth. It just makes it more difficult. It's very dumb.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I will be tweeting from the game, and yes, I still
good.
I still call it Twitter. So
I do too.
Yeah,
I'll be following you as well because I have double header broadcasts all weekend Saturday. So I'll be okay. What's going on? I'll check with you too as well all weekend. So, all right, man. Well, good stuff. Enjoy you. I know you're going to enjoy the weather, so that's good. Very good stuff. So.
That'll be nice.
So you'll have that. Yes, you'll have that going for you. 100%. All right, brother. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks, man.
All right. Talk to you later.
There we go. Andy Bitter joining us. There we go. Had a little kink there for a second. We're good now, though. We're good now. Good stuff from Andy. I'm going to get rid of Creed, and we're going to try to get Alex Square on. And hey, what's up, Steeler Hokie? Good morning. How are you? Good to have you. Great stuff in chat as always. Be right back. Gotta go. Right back. All right. Do I think Franklin gets 60,000 attendance? No, I do not. I do not. But I do believe it'll be well over 40. I think 40 is a nice guide. You got to keep in mind when they used to do tickets, even in Tech's heyday. Andy's right. The largest crowd I remember them reporting was around 30 something. So it's free now. There's a lot of curiosity, but I don't see it getting much over 40. I mean, you're assuming people are going to adjust everything on a Saturday and they might. It's going to be hard to know. I mean, people just have to look that go to the game and visualize because we're not going to know. We're not going to have any idea. There'll be all sorts of guesses as to how many people are there. But I think it'll be a really good crowd. Yeah. And if you're a Tech fan, you should be excited. I think Ethan Grunkenmeyer might be the most important addition to any team in the ACC this year. I know there's some good quarterbacks, Mensa traded places and all this, but I just think he's going to have a great year. I just feel like before I even knew about James Franklin possibly being in Blacksburg and before I knew what was going to happen at Penn State, I watched that kid play 3 or 4 games last year, including the bowl game, including the Indiana game. And I'm thinking, this guy's a good quarterback. This guy can play, man. This guy's good. Yeah, I tend to agree with both of you, Chris and Tebow. I think the Maryland game to me, plus it's a road game. So you're packing up the team for the first time and you're going on the road. Now, I know the atmosphere there is not great and there'll be a lot of Tech fans there, but I agree with you both. I think for me, as I looked at the schedule, going on the road for the first time with, a new franchise, if you will, I believe that is the game, the Maryland game. I agree with both Tebow and Chris Lester. We did break the Franklin news. I took a lot of heat because people thought I was just making stuff up. Well, what's all this chatter that they're back? Morris says, oh, here we go. Morris says, I want an ACC championship, qualify for the playoffs. Otherwise, I'm out. I think, and plus two, here's the incentive as well, Tebow and Chris. I mean, Maryland's coaching staff got a reprieve that they didn't expect. So they know they have to win. So, And what better way than that staff to beat James Franklin, right? I mean, they have to – you got to look at it from the other side too. You're right. That's why I think you're both right. I think that's the game I'll look at and go, you know what? They passed a huge test there on the road. Going on the road's tough, especially in football, man. You all know this. You're fans. It's not easy. Basketball, football, we're at baseball games being away is not easy. It's not easy. And it is, how both Tech and UVA had make or break it years last year. And when one coach made it, the other one got broken. Same thing with Maryland this year with Loxley. They've got to, Loxley, they've got to win or he's done. Or he could be out of there early. In other words, they won't wait to let him go at the end of the year. If they get off to a bad start, they'll let him go like Tech did with Brent Pry. So we'll see. But I agree with both of you. So, yeah. Dwight Vick coming up in just a little bit. Joining us now on the program, it's Alex Square. That gentleman, head baseball coach at Radford. What's up, AG? Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Rick.
Wonderful. Yeah, he's got me. I'm doing all right, man. Doing all right. getting toward the end of the week now, and it is crunch time, isn't it? Here in the Big South, you guys are going to be hosting Gardner Webb starting tomorrow. Big series here for the Highlanders against the Running Bulldogs.
Huge weekend. I think it's going to be a good test for us. Excited to get back home after being on the road for the last few games. They're pretty offensive, so we've got our hands full from the pitching side. But looking forward to it. It's going to be a beautiful weekend, alumni weekend. Got a handful of alums coming back. We've got this senior student tailgate tomorrow. Should have like almost 300 students out on the lawn.
Wow.
Yeah. Laura Turk, Michelle, their whole staff, they did a great job organizing that. So,
that'll be great.
Nice little pregame activity.
Yeah, absolutely. And this league, whether you're in first place or whether you're in 7th or 8th place, I mean, it's just there's such a small separation, isn't there? I mean, you go back to the 3 games you had against Winthrop, you could have won all 3 of those games, right? High point games. I mean, the way you look at all this with the league, it's just a matter. And baseball is just that way, right? As a coach, you just sometimes you've been in it all your life and but you just go, wow, baseball. Why am I in baseball? Baseball drives you nuts.
Christian and I will look at each other in the middle of the game and just be like, this
right?
Up sometimes, man.
You're like, what are we doing?
I mean, it's sometimes you're struggling so much that you feel like you got to change the way you live your life. You're playing so well that you don't want to change anything. But yeah, I mean, I think the league is really good this year.
Yeah, it is.
I think there's a lot of parity, from top to bottom. We got swept by Winthrop. Winthrop is at the top of the league, and Presbyterian, who from a record standpoint is not probably what they want it to look like. They've played a lot of a very difficult, non-conference, but they go and they take 2 out of 3 from Winthrop.
Right. Exactly.
So I mean, it's just baseball sometimes.
It's baseball.
Man. It's just baseball. The unique thing about our game is you can run into a pitcher who's just on that day. I mean, you can have a group of hitters that are just not on, not seeing it well, not having a good approach, not doing the right things. Sometimes the ball just literally doesn't bounce your way. Happened to us last year against Gardner Webb, a little blue pit that bounced and Q shotted it down the line and 3 runs scored. That's the game sometimes.
Yeah.
But when you win, it's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
It really is. I mean, remember last year against Winthrop, we scored 5 in the 9th on senior day. And, and Corb had the walk-off. I mean, it's a sweep. I mean, it's just a game.
It is. It's the true only sport that doesn't, from one day to the next, you have no idea, and it doesn't really affect anything. It's bizarre, but it's baseball. And I think that's part of the intrigue of it, and why so many people love it, right?
100%.
Well, when you look at this time of year, where are we now? We're in the middle. Good Lord, we're in the middle of April. I mean, this thing will be wrapping up in the regular. Yeah, it's hard to believe. How are guys feeling in your arms and so forth? I mean, you guys doing okay? You satisfied with the work? And they're guys. I know your guys are pretty honest on how they're feeling. You getting good reports from everything so far from
a pitching side? Yes. Knock on wood.
Good.
I think our guys have done a really good job of taking care of their bodies. Schiff and Jen, they do a great job of keeping our guys strong and getting the necessary work that they need. Our guys are really mature about it, and they do a really good job. I mean, from a position player standpoint, we've got some guys that are kind of banged up and just some freak things, like Devin Parks dives back into the base and jams his shoulder, and he's been out for the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
Tried to go Friday against High Point. I don't think he was truly ready. I think he probably needed another week. But he came to me yesterday and said, "Look, I'm good to go. Like, I'm gonna let her rip." So he'll be back this week.
Good.
Alex Levaque had he had the concussion against Virginia Tech that kept him out against Upstate, and then he probably could have went yesterday against Tech, but he was stretching in the hotel doing his prehab stuff on Saturday and just kind of tweaked something in his back and it just locked up on him. And it was muscular. It wasn't anything crazy.
Well, he's been terrific, hasn't he? Alex, he has been terrific, man. You've got some good depth at that position, I think. Some really reliable veteran guys. And then here's this young freshman who's come in and he's handling the staff well, and he gets some big hits for you, man. I'm glad to hear that he's coming back. So that's good.
Yeah, he's done a nice job.
Yeah.
He's done a nice job. So I think positionally we're all right. I mean, some guys are banged up, Hunter and BP, but they'll be fine. I think we'll have a full deck going home, playing at home this week against Cardinal Webb.
What do you look for now, Coach, as opposed to, I guess you're always looking to get better and improve, but now, you have to start surveying the schedule a little bit. You think about, okay, once the playoffs start, what kind of things do you remind the team about now to continue to take those next steps forward here as we get down to these final few series in conference play?
We had a really good talk yesterday about the way that we need to prepare and the process that we have to have. And I think to make sure that we are consistent as we finish up. We've had some inconsistent results and inconsistent stretches, and I think at times that could be, just from a lack of routine, individually, collectively, whatever it may be. So, we came up with some stuff from a position player standpoint that I think will help them as far as, within their schedule and how they're going about their business and things that we're doing and the type of reps they're getting from an offensive standpoint. And I feel really good about kind of that plan that we have going, for these next 6 to 8 weeks, just from a group work standpoint and the things that we want to be able to touch and make sure that we're covering, not to get into it too deep, but there's a common theme that I see offensively, in certain aspects of guys' games, and there are things that I feel like we gotta improve upon. So I think if we can just attack the process, I think that's been something we've really preached all year long. One day at a time, making sure that we stick to our process and prepare the right way. And if we prepare, before the game happens, we're going to feel really confident going into it. That's kind of where we're at right now. I feel good about it.
On our professional door text line, Clint asks, hey, Coach, I'm a baseball coach as well. How much does film session help you guys when you go back and watch games and individual performances? We hear about it in football a lot and basketball, but how about from your perspective? We don't do that a lot where we are, so I was just wondering. Thanks for the question.
Great question, Clint. Yes, we'll review film. We try to do that every single Monday. And I think that, we have a system in place where we can go in there and I can click, all ground balls or
that's cool,
all fly balls, or every play with a runner at first and second, or all bunt plays, or all stolen bases, etc. So all balls put in play. So it makes it a lot easier, pretty easy to be able to go back and evaluate. You don't have to go and, put the entire game on there, click around, cut it up. It's already kind of cut for you, which is great. I think it's very important. I think film is a great opportunity for guys to see what's going on, see what they're doing, and not put the strenuous reps on their bodies. Plus, these kids are visual learners, right? Like, they're always on their phones. It's a lot easier for them to see what they're doing than you telling them. The guys are different types of learners. Some guys are auditory. Other guys are visual. Other guys, you got to kind of put your hands on them and move them themselves because they're not sure. Some guys, everybody's different. But from a team standpoint, we watch film once a week. Individually, we watch film with players, especially from an offensive standpoint. Christian will meet with the pitchers as well, go over their outings, and then we'll have film for scouting report stuff. Everybody's got to log into the system that we use, so guys can go on there and evaluate the starters, the bullpen guys, and kind of formulate their own approach. And then we'll have the film kind of rolling during pregame work of the starter that we're facing that day.
Well, the first time I ever heard about it was my all-time favorite player, Tony Gwynn, and he filmed himself a lot. He relied on videotape footage. He would do that before he go take his hacks in practice, and he contributed that as being the biggest success. That and his amazing non-human hand-eye coordination. But films, that's the first time I heard about baseball and film being kind of intertwined, and it's only grown, like you're saying. Yeah,
it's grown tremendously. There's all kinds of different systems now. Like anything else, somebody gets an idea, someone else tries to make it better, and so on and so forth. So very helpful, for sure.
For the folks who are going to come out, and I think we're going to have some big crowds this weekend. We've got baseball and softball going on, but what are we looking at with Gardner Webb? They always seem to have 2 or 3 guys that can really rake. Every year, right? Gardner Webb has some guys who can hit the baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I was pulling it up earlier. They're leading the league in hitting right now. They're hitting
there we go.
302 as a team.
Jeez.
They've got, let's see here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys hitting over 300. Kelvin Augusto is probably their best overall hitter. He's hitting 390 right now. And they've got a bunch of guys that they throw. Right, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4. They got 5 guys with 10 plus appearances. Another 5 guys with 8 or 9. So they've got a lot of different options on the mound, but they can swing it. They've got 30 homers. They run kind of like they've got almost 100 stolen base attempts, but they've been thrown out, almost 30 times. So like they're 70 for 93. So they run. I think it's a little bit of a kamikaze run, to be honest.
Yeah.
Their coach does an awesome job, Coach Chester. I've known him for a good bit of time now. He works really hard, and he'll have his guys ready and prepared. And it's a new team, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm looking at this, and this is it's so crazy how recruiting has changed. But one kid that's hitting, Drew Rapepi, he's hitting 314. He's from Pittsburgh, got 5 homers. I remember talking to him when he was a freshman in high school when I was at JMU. That was back when you could talk to underclassmen. He ended up committing to University of Pittsburgh and then decommitted and ended up going to Gardner Webb. But, I mean, it's like the kid is still playing. It seems like an eternity ago. It shouldn't even be. It shouldn't even be the fact that he's still playing. It's just really weird. But regardless, they're gonna be tough, man. Like they're gonna be a tough team. They're 4-13 away from their home park. So I'm curious to see if there's a different vibe that they have. I think playing on the road is a challenge no matter who you are.
And you've been good at home, like winning the last 2 conference series. So
yeah, we have been good at home.
So
we've done a good job at home, and the last weekend was an awesome test for our team. As far as being able to go on the road against High Point, which I think they're very, very talented, and to be able to win like we did on Friday night, and obviously not play as well, not swing the bats as well as we have in the last 3 games, but I think with some of the adjustments that we've made over the last 2.5 days, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, man, I know you'll have them ready. Looking forward to keeping up with it. Folks, come out and support the
hope
Highlanders.
so.
Great weather at Williams Field this weekend. So, and tomorrow's going to be a fun day. A lot of stuff going on. So, good.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man. Take care of yourself.
All right. See ya.
Be good. Alex Square, head baseball coach at Radford University. Yeah, come on out and watch. If you haven't been to Williams Field, you need to. It's a big series against a good team. You heard the hitting numbers there from Coach Guerra. So come out and watch Radford. We've got softball and baseball going on. So come out and say hey. I know a lot of people are going to be over at Tech on Saturday, for the spring game, but you can come by and hang out at our place tomorrow. And then we'll have baseball on Sunday. So come see us on Sunday. I'll be calling the Sunday game. So come by and say hi. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply since 1997. They've been manufacturing home parts and things for your doors, windows, plumbing. Give James a call, 540-381-8011. The NRV Super Bowl has been over 25 years they've been around. 382-5525. Call now to reserve your lane this weekend. Sundown Electric. Appreciate them and their support. Thanks to the Smith brothers. They've kept their father's business going. One of the best businesses. You look at the rating of customers of anywhere you're going to see. And the same thing goes for Professional Door Incorporated, Travis Williams on our text line. So glad they have a full staff. They are now a regional company. I mean, they're everywhere. 38 years in business, continuing again, a lot like the Smiths, what their father built. Great stuff. Dwight Vick coming up here in about 10 minutes, by the way. The Ready Set Fund, ReadySetFund.com. You want to go raise money for your organization, ReadySetFund.com will teach you about a series of text messages to help you do just that. Thanks so much to Bob Christ. National Bank, member FDIC, thanks to Lara Ramsey, doing a great job now, being the president, the exclusive banking partner of BDST, and of course of me. Told you about my refinancing. They were great. The attorney Ryan Pry, down in Radford, 701 West Main Street, and it's a runaway. I mean, it might be the most lopsided question from what we've gotten. We've gotten about 22 responses, 20 of the 22 telling me that hitting a baseball by far more difficult than playing golf. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. Each and every day we're brought to you by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. They have a new release every day. And they have a big race weekend coming up. So be sure to check out everything they have to offer at the racetrack here in Pulaski County. Family Fencing, sponsor of our studios. Thanks to Jason Green. For a quote, 540-200-8294. And Mark Hunley and McClellan Chiropractic. If your back is giving you problems or your body's aching, go see Mark. You'll be glad you did. Ask Travis Williams from Professional Door. He's now an annual, weekly, whatever long he needs it. He's now Mark Hunley's patient. Hit us up in the Professional Door text line or the McClellan Chiropractic chat room. Good stuff here on a Thursday. Yeah, we do have our student awards that I'll be emceeing tonight down at Radford University. It's called the Ruby. See, we call them the Rubies because we're red. And rubies are red. Don't know if you knew that or not, but that is what it is. That is what it is. Thanks, different Mark. Thank you. Why do I think Mike Vrabel won't be the head coach? Well, I think it's going to be difficult. That's a PR nightmare. And Diana, whatever her name is, Rossini, who resigned from the Athletic, I'm sure she was told she had to. Never apologized. And just, with more and more things that are coming out about that relationship, I think it's going to be very, very difficult to I don't know how you get your clubhouse back, especially when you called guys out publicly for expressing their religious beliefs. I saw who was it? Was that you, Tebow, earlier talking about how, and Vrabel calling out Brown as well. Yeah, I think Vrabel, there's a reason that he kind of rubbed people the wrong way toward the end of his tenure down in Tennessee. I hope there's some accountability. I hope we just don't accept every part of behavior now and just kind of we brush off. There's so much brushing off of things. And usually when stuff's brushed off, it's because people are so guilty of it themselves that they don't try to attach much to it. There's just such an acceptance of amoral behavior. What kind of example can you be for a group of professional athletes if you're going around and you're lying and you're cheating on your wife and your kids and you try to come across as one thing but you're out doing the other thing? How can these players look at him and go, what do we care what he has to say? He doesn't mean what he has to say. Take away the other aspects of it. Let's just look at it from a football perspective. Would you want to play for that guy? I mean, he went to the Super Bowl in his first year. And now this has happened. How do you address that with the team? Now, will there be a handful of guys that understand? Probably. Yeah, okay, well, all the guy did was just do something a lot of men do. That's what we just kind of excuse all these things. You're making millions of dollars in the world's richest and most successful professional league. You work for one of the richest owners in the history of professional sports. You should have some accountability, right? There should be some kind of paying the piper for going out and behaving in that manner against your family. It cost Diana, what's her name? Rossini, whatever it is. I'd never heard of her before until all this happened. She cost her job. So where's the Vrabel side of this? Why do we, like David Smith said, the silence is deafening, isn't it? It's been very quiet. Diana Rossini, thank you. Thank you, Teddy, on our text line. That's why. And I would think the fans would be like, we want this guy on our sideline? We want this? Really? This guy who can't make the right decisions in his life, his personal life, yet we expect him to be able to coach this football team? And players may have that same mentality. I don't know. All I know is there are few quality people that have been head coaches in the league that have more morals, that have more accountability and respect than Mike Tomlin. He's one of the best people that's had success. He's out of the league now. Pittsburgh fans wanted him out. Never had a losing record. Had somebody the other day arguing with me that he's not a Hall of Famer. Really? You don't think Mike Tomlin's a first ballot Hall of Famer? Okay. For God's sakes, Jimmy Johnson's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Of course, Mike Tomlin's a Hall of Famer. What are we doing? Prometheus thinks they're trying to wait until something else pops up. I don't think it's going to go away. Well, you're probably right about that, Prometheus. As they start winning again, they went to the Super Bowl. Maybe people just forget, but it's always going to be there. No matter what kind of interview that he gives, no matter what kind of public appearance that he gives, right? You're representing that organization. If I'm running the organization, I'm like, well, who have I hired to run my team when he can't run his own life? This goes back to the whole branding thing David Smith was talking about. This goes back to all that. I'll ask Dwight about all this. Tebow says, I felt like Diana Rossini was trying to sabotage A.J. Brown in Philly, especially when she constantly tied him to New England. Could be. She was a horrible reporter. She always badmouthed her husband publicly. They were showing clips of the things she would say when she'd be interviewed, and you're like, okay. But if it cost one half of that relationship, their job and their profession, shouldn't there be something on the other side of it? Or are we just going to ignore it? Are we just ignoring the Mike Vrabel part because he's a dude? Shouldn't there be accountability on both sides? And if you've got Sean McDermott and Mike Tomlin not coaching NFL teams, you shouldn't feel too bad. You shouldn't feel too bad about if you have to say goodbye to Mike Vrabel. And people say, well, he just went to the Super Bowl. Okay. Is there no responsibility to have good people, the right kind of representation running your billion-dollar franchise? And if you're the head coach, I mean, you are, in many cases, the face of that franchise. Why is it just one-sided? I don't understand. The mentality of it is bizarre to me. And I've never thought about Mike Vrabel one way or the other. I mean, we've talked about him here on the show. He's good. Obviously, he's a good football coach. Clearly, he took his team to the Super Bowl in year one. But doesn't this kind of change a lot of the way you look at, okay, I don't know. But maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. And this is just looking at it from a practical business standpoint. This isn't even a judgmental thing. This is just like, if you're Kraft and you're always Patriot hierarchy, well, how do you look at this thing? That's true, Tebow. Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl and got fired. He won a Super Bowl. It's very true. As an underdog, he won a Super Bowl. So, I mean, you got a pretty good fallback if you can kind of have a conversation with Sean McDermott or Mike Tomlin's representatives and agent and say, hey, what if we did this? Would you be, was your client be interested, or they don't want to take a year off? I think they're both going to take a year off, but boy, you could probably reel one of them in next year. And I don't know much about Sean McDermott as a person, but he never came across as anything but just a really good football coach. Never heard about anything. Mike Tomlin, certainly you didn't hear about anything. Shouldn't that matter? Are we beyond that mattering anymore? Are people just always going to make excuses because they win games or they're good at something? Then it doesn't matter. There's no repercussions. Is that where we are? No repercussions ever for anything? Is that the mentality? We're okay, it's fine. No, it's no big deal. I'm trying to think of the circumstance. So, not that it was right, but back in the day, Denny Crum was an assistant to John Wooden. Now, that's probably true, Wayne. Look at the political leaders we have, and it trickles down. That's probably true. Correct. What's the dude's name who was running for governor in California that everybody was supporting, and now all of a sudden you don't hear radio silence from that side of the political forum on all the things that showed the videos where he's clearly guilty. He's now pulled out of Congress. He's pulled out of running, and nobody says anything because he's Denny Crum was an assistant for John Wooden. It was a no-brainer. He was going to succeed John Wooden at UCLA, right? And then they didn't hire him out there because there were rumors about infidelity in his marriage. This is the mid-'70s. And so the higher-ups that ran UCLA didn't hire Denny Crum because they didn't want anything attached to that position. And he got the job at Louisville, and the rest is history. And UCLA scurried for years before they found a head coach who could get him back there. The question was worded, Morris, what is more difficult, trying to hit a baseball in a live baseball game or hitting a golf ball for tee in a tournament when everything is radio silence and you have to be quiet as opposed to 60,000, well, baseball game, 30 to 40,000 screaming fans? I don't know. And baseball's winning handedly right now. We always win when Dwight Vick joins us. What's up, DV? Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, man. What are you talking about, hitting the baseball?
Yeah, our BDST question of the week is, what is more difficult, hitting a baseball, right? You think about Major League Baseball and how tough it is, or, being at the Masters and hitting a shot at the Masters that, what's tougher, playing golf or hitting baseball?
I mean, both are extremely hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, both are really hard. I don't know, man. I can't speak on either one. I've never done either one. I don't know, man. Hitting a baseball to me is harder because it's coming at you, the ball, as far as somebody's throwing a pitch at you, and you talking about Major League. I mean, the average pitcher is elite. So, hitting the baseballs, at least the golf ball doesn't move. It's on your swing and your routine and your stance. Like, you got to hit it. You can't make noise at the Masters, unless after the player hits it, or whatever. I don't know. The golfer hits it. Yeah. But again, that's actually a really good debate question. I go with baseball though. Yeah. Baseball, hitting the baseball is extremely hard. Yeah. I actually have tried to hit a baseball when I was in high school. My O-line, D-line coach was the head baseball coach, and we were talking trash, and he invited us up to the mound. He didn't even have his starter pitcher throw at us. He had one of his random pitchers throw some heat at us. And I was like, good Lord, baseball's no joke when it comes to trying to hit a ball. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to ask you now a human condition question. You ready? Because you deal with this stuff. We were just talking about Mike Vrabel, right? This whole thing with Diana. Oh. All right. She's lost her job. She had to resign. She was fired. And not a word from the Patriots. And I want to ask you, you were there in an NFL camp. You understand you were the highest success. If your head coach is conducting himself in this way in his life, right? If you're a player, do you just kind of brush that off because, okay, we're all dudes and, guys will be tempted and make mistakes, or does that affect the way his leadership comes across to you? Because, just a couple of weeks ago, he called out a couple of players who were supporting the Bulls player who got cut because he expressed his Christian beliefs. Remember that? Well, Vrabel had two players that supported that guy and said we shouldn't be doing that. But yet here we are a week later, and now video says it all with what's been going on between those two. So my question to you is, should the Patriots have the same mindset the Athletic did and say, why do we want to keep this guy around? Does that bother you? Would that bother you as a player? What do you think?
It's interesting. And I'm going to say this to you, Rick. I really appreciate and respect you for covering it, because a lot of media outlets, and I don't know what this is, but Udoka, when the Celtics coach was engaged to Nia Long, he had an affair with a higher up and other women as well, and he got let go.
He got let go. Right.
He got let go.
Rockets. Yeah.
He's with the Rockets now, and it was a big deal. And that was
that.
Yeah, that was consensual. It was, but it also was unethical because they worked together. Just unethical. Like this situation is unethical because she's a media person, and she also covers and is an insider with the NFL. So to answer your question, as a player, you kind of know stuff already when you're a college or pro, even high school player. You kind of already know. I remember, the days I played, you kind of knew which coaches had a little bit of a drinking problem, which one. I played for quite a few coaches that had a steady hand with side pieces and mistresses. And, it was just the truth. You saw it. I remember after high school games, I had a coach whose wife we knew, but then he would be in the parking lot with his side piece, and they would just be having some beers and drinking. She'd be flirting with him, and I was at that time. I'm a teenager. I'm very impressionable. I was a little naive
Sure.
about marriage because my mom and dad have been married 50 plus years at the time, not that long. But I think you lose credibility. But at the same time, as a player, you brush it off, except for the fact that these are grown men, and if stuff starts coming, if they start losing or struggling, you will have a player, and there's always 1 to 2 to even sometimes 3 players who are not afraid to say whatever they need to say, and it can come out. Because unlike college and high school, in the NFL, it's men coaching men, like grown men. So you have players that sometimes make just as much as the coaches, if not more. And accountability has to be there, but credibility has to be there as well. I think I don't play anymore, but I think, it's just one of those things where some of them may have even known. And what's crazy? This is probably not the only one. Not only coach, but it could be another woman. A lot of times, man, when we catch somebody doing this or when it comes out, I hate to bring it up, but you mentioned golf. Tiger Woods had several. He had a whole bunch of side pieces and girls he was messing with outside of his marriage. A lot of times these guys are greedy, but when it comes to head coaching, I told you several months ago, I've been with you now going on 4 years, and I told you not to say these guys are better people than you and I, but there was a sense of class and integrity with a lot of coaches back in the day compared to now. And I think it doesn't mean they were perfect because we're all battling the demons. We're all a work in progress. I don't walk in perfection, neither does anybody else. But I think you understood the assignment when you became a head coach. You tried to really live by the same principles you taught your players. But at the same time, man, there's been a lot of scandals over the last umpteen thousand years. I mean, it's always a scandal. This is just the latest one.
Well, right.
So, I mean, again, man, I as a player, I probably would be like watching the story unfold and be like, damn. But at the end of the day, when it's time to play football, you play football. I mean, when it's time to practice, you practice. It will be a little awkward at the beginning, but at the same time, man, like players, unlike fans, and fans do it as well, but players have the unique ability to decompartmentalize situations and just go into the season and start playing and practicing. It's kind of like I was watching yesterday doing some work in my office, and I had on my TV the documentary with Antonio Brown, and it was showing his story, his journey to the NFL, and how him and Brady at one time were real tight, and Brady advocated for him to come to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where he was there for a few seasons. But that game in which at the Jets, the Bucs were losing, and he got mad because he wasn't getting passes, and he was mad about other stuff, and took his shirt off, and Brady was disappointed, and the teammates were, but they came back and won that game, and they continued the season. They looked at Antonio Brown, and look, I played with a few players that were unstable. Ironically, I'm a therapist, but you know which coaches and which teammates have issues. And I think sports teaches you how to focus on yourself and make sure that that person doesn't impact the final outcome, right? Like, it's just like music groups, whether you go back in time to the Beatles or Guns N' Roses or Wu-Tang Clan. Wu-Tang Clan had Old Dirty Bastard. New Edition had Bobby Brown. There's always a wild card in a group where you're like, that's my guy, but he is a loose cannon. As long as he doesn't affect our tour money, we're good. When you start impacting my money, and not to say that's all NFL players care about, but the bottom line is winning games and getting my paycheck. If you start impacting those two things, you're going to have to see me physically. It's going to be some furniture moving.
Yeah.
So that's what it comes down to. So it's one of those things where, like I said, man, I look back on my career. You opened up some core memories this morning, Rick, because I remember playing some coaches. I mean, I've been around coaches that had that did drugs. It's weird because it makes you grow up real fast. But so I try to tell the fans on Twitter, aka X, that a lot of these men and women that coach, they're getting paid great money. They're living their dream and coaching, but they still have issues. Look at the coach that Fuente had to fire that was hooking up with recruits' mothers.
Yeah, I forgot about that too. Yeah.
But here's the thing, and I hate saying this out loud on this great Thursday morning. He was not, and he ain't the only one that was doing it.
I know.
I mean, you got a single mother in there, or even a married woman, and these moms look great, and you spending time talking, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna call you and text you. Next thing you know, like, well, I'm gonna be back in town. You want to grab dinner?
I know.
Yeah, and he just got caught. I mean, it's a messy world, Rick. To me, what social media and ESPN, which has become a glorified TMZ.
Oh my Lord!
What ESPN and all these shows have become. You look at all the like sexual innuendos and the flirting that goes on. Oh, you look good, girl. You wearing that dress, and we got to hear about who quarterbacks and running backs are dating, and it's so much exposure. It's overstimulating. We know everything about these men and women now, even the WNBA and all that. We know their salaries, their blood type, where they had dinner, and I feel like all this overexposure has impacted the moral compass.
Yes.
It almost makes it like to be expected that this is going to happen.
Right. That's a great point. We're almost like conditioned now. Oh, okay. Well, this other guy did that. This other guy did that. So, okay, this is just the same. You're right. That's a great point. We see it so often. We're told about it so often. We're just, okay, we're softened now to the point where, okay, who's next? Or he'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
I just hate it. Not to say it's about the kids, but it is, because the kids are subconsciously listening and watching.
Well,
like
and
Go ahead.
Well, no, your Celtic analogy is perfect because you're talking about the exact same fan base, right?
Yeah.
And this is a guy who was very successful too, and he was fired immediately. Same area, New England, right? We're talking about the Patriot Celtic fans are all the same clientele, the same customers. So let's see if this is treated differently. Yeah, that's a great comparison.
Well, I do have one of my degrees behind me is in sociology, and I study human behavior. And I'm always one to point out hypocrisies, even the ones within myself. I work on myself every day, mentally, physically, and spiritually. So I see hypocrisy all the time. And when I saw the Adoke situation, you're going to laugh at me, but maybe your listeners will laugh at me. I was more so mad, like, dude, you got Nia Long. You with Nia Long. What are you doing?
No, I get it.
You got Nia Long, my guy. You understand how long she's been on the bucket list roster for grown and young men all across this country? Nia Long? Dude, was it worth it? I don't know, man. But you know that that just shows you, man, people will risk it all, man. Now, to his credit, he apologized, and I don't know if he did. Yeah, he apologized, and he got a new job. And infidelity, affairs, cheating, it's been going on since the Old Testament. So
correct.
It is what it is. I'm not justifying it. I'm not rationalizing it, but I do think I think people really get complacent when they start getting in positions of power. I think they really forget that you don't just owe it to the fans and to your supporters or even to people watching you. You owe it to yourself, because what do I always talk about every time I appear on your show is legacy.
Right.
And that doesn't mean I won't make a mistake one day. I don't drive intoxicated or anything like that, but maybe I take a medication one time for an antibiotic or something, and it has me drowsy, and I run to the store and I get pulled over for driving under the influence. Does that mean I'm an awful person? No. It means I made a poor choice and I got caught. So I'm careful to bury people when they're down, but I do think when I talk about people in groups and people at the workplace, especially the higher status jobs, that they're human. But I also think you have to work hard to make sure you don't ruin it, because there are a lot of people that would love to have your position, to make the money you make and to be respected the way you are. And, Vrabel, man, I remember him as a player, and the Patriots had a great run last year. And now that's part of your legacy, but you can overcome it. I who I always think about in these situations are the spouse or the girlfriend and boyfriend.
I know. And the
Nia
family, the
Long,
kids.
Nia Long,
Yeah.
Udoke's fiance, longtime girlfriend, had to deal with that for several months and weeks. And she's a famous actress. And then you think about the dude with the woman at the Coldplay concert when they called him in.
Yes.
And they were, and how his wife was, and the children are at home. And this is trending on X and TikTok and Instagram and all the memes and jokes. You think about the Curry brothers and the Curry siblings, because there's a daughter and there's Steph and Seth, and how my alumni, their mom, she went to Virginia Tech. She was up in that booth dancing and doing all the different things, and her and Dale Curry divorced. Like, Seth still became a champion, or he still had a great season after that. But when your mom or your spouse embarrasses themselves, they also embarrass you, right? And that's something I can experience, because I've been through it, where when a family member or a close friend that everyone knows you're associated with, it makes not one but multiple bad choices. It's not just that person, but we all have to recover from that, because people ask you what's going on.
Right.
What are your thoughts? What do you like when Caleb Woodson got in trouble right before the South Carolina game? I'm close to his family. I talked to his mom, and she gave me the real story behind everything. But she was so mad because there were fans on Twitter just destroying Caleb, calling him irresponsible, an idiot, and a lot of other choice words. And they were like, that's his second one. Pryor, you're a fool, bench his ass, and all that other stuff. Well, the truth of the matter is, he did get held accountable. Pryor chose to hold him accountable in his own way. But his family had to deal with that, including his brother, who's a player at Pittsburgh, right? Like, again, when these men and women make these choices, their family has to deal with it as well.
Yeah, it's a great take. Switching gears, man, got to talk about the spring game a little bit. Everybody's all excited. When you watch a spring game, what are you looking to get out? I don't know if you're coming in town. It won't be on TV, but what kind of things do you want to hear coming out of the spring game?
No, I'm not coming. This will be the second year in a row I won't be there. I'm not. I have to work, and my youngest daughter has a volleyball tournament at the St. James.
Oh, sure.
In Alexandria. But I mean, over the last several years, man, I'm always real with you, Rick, and your listeners and viewers. I don't get excited for the spring game when I do go. I get excited for the culture around it, the fans, the tailgating. Seeing old faces, alumni, my old teammates and guys I watched play after I was done playing, seeing some coaches, hitting up some of my spots in Blacksburg and Christiansburg that I miss going to. The game is a glorified practice. It's basically like watching the Pro Bowl. You're not going to get anything. I mean, there was a time, the spring game, and I hate talking like I'm that old guy sitting on the porch, but there was a time when the spring game was full contact. You just couldn't tackle the quarterback, but we were divided up, some ones and twos versus some ones and twos. And it was one defense versus first offense. Like, you don't have that anymore. The whole key factor is to get everybody out healthy, give the fans maybe one or two trick plays, but it is absolutely boring. It's just, I think they should, there was a movement going on a couple of seasons ago that there was a push that a lot of coaches and universities were like, we're going to get rid of spring games. And fans were like, why? Yeah. Why would you? I'm like, the spring game is not important. Dion tried to get a scrimmage. I would much rather have the NCAA, which will never happen, approve teams to scrimmage another university. Like, have Virginia Tech scrimmage, I don't know, some team in the Coastal Carolina or something. I don't know. Or Marshall.
Right.
Marshall. How about Marshall versus Virginia Tech? That'll be a great spring game. And, you would just have to figure out where you would do it at, how you would split the bag at the gate. But at the same time, I mean, I think the spring game is just, a great event. It'll be great for Franklin to experience the Virginia Tech fan base, to come out to Enter Sandman and all of that. But, even if it's on TV, I glance at it, I watch it. But the spring game used to be a game where you would see a player emerge like, hey, man, that kid right there, man, he's going to be I think they can use him. But, the practices are practices. And the spring game is basically a celebration for the end of spring game. And then you get ready for the off season. To me, when you and I are talking late July, August, that's when, as Beamer used to say, that's when I'm going to turn up the wick and see what's going on. I want to see, okay, what am I hearing from practice? Because some of the questions being asked by the media, some of these guys is like, what made you choose Virginia Tech? You had 18 other offers. Like, what kind of question is that? Or, I mean, like, what do you prefer, spaghetti or chicken Alfredo? Like, what? Hey, guess what? You see this play by this receiver? He caught it on his helmet. The spring game and spring practices are not the same. They're not. It's not the same. And I don't want you guys thinking I'm poo-pooing on it. Spring practices are important, but the NCAA took the amount of time you could be on the field, and it's not what you'll see some great plays, you'll see some interceptions and some nice passes, but those coaches know what they want to look for, and that was already evaluated during the practices.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you. It's just, we'll have people on Monday on the X going to be posting, oh my goodness, Tech's back. You should have seen them on Saturday. It's just a practice. Everybody calm down.
It is, man. I mean, I think the last one I went to a few years ago, I mean, they were just kind of wrapping up and they were blowing the whistle real quick. And again, I mean, I get it now, man. With the physicality of the players, the grueling season, you got to keep them healthy. You don't want anybody walking out with some type of injury or something that makes a nagging injury worse. So you give the fans a little taste of what it'll look like. It'll be good to see Franklin on the sideline, to see his demeanor, but that's not going to be the Franklin we see when they play at Maryland, or the Franklin when we play Miami. So it'll be good for them to get the headsets on, to get into a little bit of a rhythm. But they've already had a few scrimmages. Again, it's almost like even if this was Pry still as the head coach, but with Franklin, especially how he keeps a very close-knit control of the program, it's almost like we really don't know what to expect, not for the spring game, but this season. I mean, that'll be kind of like cool to me, kind of that uncertainty of like how they will look and how they're going to perform. I will say, man, everybody's all excited because they're getting a lot of great recruits, and I'm not shocked one bit that man can recruit. And I love the fact that they are all over Virginia right now. I just talked to some of my guys back in the Hampton Roads, Towerwood area, and Virginia Tech is everywhere. And I love it. But like I say in my group chat with my boys, my Boundary Corner crew, I say, hey, I need wins. Y'all can miss me with the vibes. Fuente, 100%. We had vibes. Fuente, new man in town, changed up the recruiting envelopes and letters, and he wasn't personable, but he came in and he did some great things, and the vibes were great. And then it went to, I'm not going to curse, but it went to poo-poo. And then, Brent Pry came in, and I was guilty. I was like, man, that's my guy. And he's still my guy. And the vibes were great. He was snowball fighting with the core cadets, and he was running around kissing babies and going downtown and eating wings. And like, yeah, my favorite place is this right here. And it was great. And then all of a sudden, after that 7-6 season, it went to poo-poo. So I am not going to get caught up in the euphoric emotions of the newness. It's almost like when, that feeling you have going back to relationships, like we talked about earlier, that 3-month, that 2-month honeymoon period you have when you're dating somebody new, and then all of a sudden that shine wears off and you realize, can I really be around this person? You talk about cheating. One reason why people say, oh my God, he understands me or she's great. It's because with her, you're not talking about the mortgage, the bills, surgery, the kids. You're talking about flirting and
There
all
you
the
go.
fun stuff. You're not
Yes.
talking about responsibility. You know what I'm saying? So of course he's listening to you. He wants to smash.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. So I mean,
right.
yeah, you know, same thing with Virginia Tech. You know, everything is said the right way in the press conference. And I mean, I remember UNC fans were hype about Hubert Davis, and all of a sudden, after that great run where they beat Coach K in the Final Four,
Oh yeah.
Carolina fans were like, "He's got to go. He's got to
gotta
go." All of a sudden, all those vibes wore off, and then it was like, "Okay, we got to get another guy." And they went outside the family and they got Malone. And all of a sudden, the vibes are real great. Oh man, he's an NBA winner.
Yeah.
He knows how to deal with LeBron. And I'm like, okay, all right, okay. Again, the vibes will always get you off target with what is actually going on. Trust your vision and your gut, not them vibes.
100%. And there's never been vibes that I've seen exuded from a Tech fan than they have toward James Franklin. It's all Penn State's fault. That didn't work out. He's going to come here immediately and do just what he did before. He's a winner. In James Franklin, we got it's amazing. It's the same exact thing that you're talking about right now.
Yeah, I think I'm very, very excited for Virginia Tech football. I think Franklin would do well, but I have to what he's done at Vanderbilt and Penn State, and even when he was at Maryland, was successful. So out of respect to him, he's got a great track record. But if I took victory like the Southwest Virginia, all the great things I've done here in Nova and in the DC DMV area are great. But what I do in Southwest Virginia starts new. I got to do it there. So my historical perspective is I did a great job up here. But my era now is I got to show and prove in this new era and then in this new area where I show that I can do the same impact I had in my previous location. And the one thing I keep saying that I do feel good about is he is extremely motivated because he left Penn State with mud on his face. He left. He was not happy. He was embarrassed. He was heartbroken, and he was hurt and disappointed. And he somewhat felt betrayed. You saw it when he was on game day. He was extremely hurt. So I do think that he's motivated. I think that he will do everything he can to make Tech a winner because he does have perspective of what Virginia Tech is supposed to look at. And a lot of my former teammates that have been back in Blacksburg, Derek Smith and other guys, I talked to Anthony Midget at Ronyell Whitaker's funeral, and Jared Ferguson as well, who's the strength conditioning coach. They both really, really like him a lot, and they feel like it's going to, it's way better regarding what it's supposed to look like in the procedures and things they're doing on and off the field. Being on time or being early to practice and working hard, accountability. He's adjusted a lot of salaries where some players were being overpaid. So, that's accountability. So we got to win, though. We got to win games.
Got to win.
If we don't, you'll be like, all right, Dwight, what are you thinking? 2 and 3, what do we do? If we have that conversation, if we're doing that, I'm going to be pissed. If we're talking about we're losing and what we got to do, look, as I've told you and your listeners and viewers before, I don't have a favorite team. I have a bunch of different hats. My only favorite team is Virginia Tech football. And people say, well, what happened? People say I like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Derek White. I'm not a Celtics fan. I have Celtics hat. I like Jason. I've been a Jason Tatum fan since he was in high school. However, the reason why I stopped investing so much into sports and that emotional connection is because mentally, for me, I have bigger priorities, and I realize investing in all these other people that really don't know me and care, it doesn't benefit me. I don't know how people do it every Sunday, every Saturday, oh my God, and they call these shows. And again, I get it. We need dialogue. You need a place to process. We need a safe space. But when it comes to pro sports, I just watch it. I turn the TV off when the game's over, and I go spend time with my family, or I go watch a funny movie. So that's just how I operate. But when Tech loses, oh man,
Oh, I know.
I'm frozen. I'm frozen like Han Solo in Jabba's palace. I'm just like this. I'm frozen. Yeah, I'm frozen. I'm stuck. I'm mad. I'm like, Luke Skywalker. He was about to walk the plank. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm hurting, man. Like I'm on the edge of losing it all.
You're in carbonite, like
because Tech is my squad, man. So anyway, but yeah, man, we'll see what happens. It's only April, but you know what? I hope everybody traveling to the spring game has a great time. That's the one thing I'm gonna miss. Is I really love when I go back. Through you, Rick, I've gained new friends and followers. People come up to me from the days we did radio, and they show me love. Seeing some old professors, seeing a lot of the fans that know me from my days of writing for 247 or my podcast, seeing the future of Virginia Tech, some kids I know from the 757, and just, classmates. Tech is just, every time I go back, man, it's like energy. It's like I'm rejuvenated. It's just Southwest Virginia to me is just a special place. So I hate that I can't be back there, but I was talking to my guys in the group chat. I'm trying to go to that Maryland game, and I'm trying to get back. I've not been back to a Tech home game in a long time, so maybe this year's the year I get back, especially if we're sitting at 6-1, and yeah, we're looking good. So we'll see.
All right, man. Well, listen, great stuff as always, and enjoy your weekend. I know you will, and we'll catch up again next week, and we'll see what comes out of this thing on Saturday. So.
Absolutely. All right, man. You take care.
All right, brother. You too. There you go. That's right. The great Dwight Vick. Good stuff. Great show today, as always. Thanks to David Smith. How good is he? Andy Bitter, Alex Guerra, and Dwight Vick. Finally, Friday version tomorrow. Coach Elmo wrapping it up down at UAB today. I think we're having both Coach Elmo and Todd on tomorrow. Maybe we'll put them on at the same time. I got a lot to work out. I got to host this banquet tonight, but then I'll start focusing on that. Well, anyway, it's going to be a good finish up. Mike Ashley, open mic, and Jen tomorrow as well. Great stuff, man. Great stuff. Thanks to everybody. Please subscribe, like, and share the channel. And thanks to our sponsors once again. And we'll see you tomorrow on the Finally Friday edition.